Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another 42 Level 1. I'm one of your hosts, Alistair Kennedy. This is episode 387. And the Twilight Princess of YouTube is not with me at the moment. Apologies for the delay. I was waiting on Andy before we started, but here we are. So what we're going to do is start off with Level Up. Now, going forward, I don't know how much more level ups we will have. We are thinking of condensing the show into gaming focused only, maybe even take it into two parts, having the news at different times and stuff. Let's just post on the Twitters before everyone goes nuts and says you didn't tweet. Entertaining for anyone watching. There we go. So that's it tweeted out. We'll give it a wee retweet as well. Get it out there. But yes, so for anyone rewatching who doesn't watch live, I don't know what's up with my camera type. It's really annoying me. We're thinking of changing the format of the show ever so slightly. I mean, we've had to change the format of this show several times in the past when it was a radio show. That was to combat hosts swapping out and schedules at allgames.com. But now that we're here on YouTube, if you're anything like me, there is no way you're clicking a 4-hour video to sit down and watch that. So yes, tonight is going to be a long one probably again, well, if Andy shows up. And what we're going to be doing is debating Xbox Series X and PS5, because we've been 2 weeks with the Series X, nearly a week now with the PS5. We've got some thoughts on that one. Hope you all get yours. It's a shame because we've seen a lot of scalpers getting them this week, especially here in the UK. I think it was 3,500 units were scalped. There's a company taking credit for it. And that's no good for the general consumer. I really don't know what's up with my camera tonight. I really have no idea. I need to work on that. So yeah, show. I'm not sure what it'll be next week, but definitely going to be changing it up. Game of the Year show, once we do that, end of December, it will be end of December, start of January, depending. Not sure when Andy likes to do it. Can't remember. We will be having a longer show then. And obviously, if there's a Switch Pro, all these sort of things, we will have extended episodes. But going forwards on YouTube, personally, I think the way forward is to slice and dice this. Andy's on his way. So yes, basically what we'll be doing is shorter YouTube episodes, I think. So these, we can have a discussion behind the scenes, me and Andy, and see when this is going to happen. But the show does need to be chopped. But that's just simply because of the form factor that we've got it on now. So with Level Up, I haven't really played too much at all. I haven't really watched anything this week whatsoever. Didn't even catch The Mandalorian because I was addicted to a game that we'll talk about later. And yeah, these are my notes from last week, I believe. Yeah. So I finished a game this week, and let me just get the news up. Finished a game, and obviously the PS5 came out, so I've been playing with that quite a bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started with the news. Some good stuff this week. So Minecraft has added Baby Yoda in the Star Wars DLC. I did go on this. I did try Minecraft before, and I did attempt to get into it, but it's not really for me. But they've added like the Mandalorian stuff. Now my issue with that is you can't see your player character. I think it was Star Wars the last time I bought stuff. This was a very drunk purchase. Bought some Star Wars gear, and I also bought Minecraft Story Mode. I'm not a big fan. Not a big fan of Minecraft. I'm not as creative as you need to be to and get into it. So there was a poll on IGN if Peter Parker's face was like more the new version or the original version. I personally like the original version, and the majority of people said the 2018 model was preferable. Now, the actor that played the original models replied to some tweets because he's been getting bombarded with tweets about people preferring the older model, and yeah, he says there's something in the works. So I've got a sneaky feeling that Insomniac have listened, and they're probably not going to delete the new Peter Parker, but they might give you a Peter Parker swap option in Spider-Man Remastered. We'll need to wait and see, because it might be nothing about that. So I definitely prefer the original now, especially after playing through Miles Morales. The new Peter just doesn't sit right at all. Miles in every scene looks older than Peter, which is crazy. Okay, so Apple news. Apple, obviously, with their continuing battle against Epic due to the 30% cut that they take. But as far as I'm aware, that's similar to Microsoft and Sony when you've got a game on PlayStation and Xbox. Apple's actually cut the in-app purchase take for several people. I don't think it applies to Epic, but it's 15% they're only going to take now. So that's quite a big deal for indie app developers that they're only taking 15% now. Epic and Apple isn't finished. I don't know what's going to happen there. You will be able to play it. You'll definitely be able to play it on the App Store eventually, but just not today. So it turned out that the company behind the Switch's HD Rumble is responsible for the PS5 controller's haptic feedback. Yippee, because we all know the HD Rumble on the Switch is amazing. I'm not a big fan of HD Rumble on the Switch. It's just more irritating than anything. It's like a half step. Look at my hand. What is wrong with this stuff? So yeah, we'll talk more about the controller later on. I did do a video on the PS5. I did do an unboxing over on LTD Sprint, but tonight me and Andy are going to give general thoughts about the PS5 as well. So there is some confirmation that Xbox X and S have sold through approximately 155,000 units in its first week. 2/3 of them were Series X consoles. Now this places the Series X above Xbox One, but behind PS3, PSP, and PS4. Still a good launch. I mean, it's above the Switch, 360 Wii U. It's the best-selling Xbox of all time. Issue with this story is that Microsoft are not going to be releasing numbers going forward. They kind of don't anyway, and we're probably never going to know because they're more about Game Pass now rather than actual console units. December 1st, for all you football fans, Football Manager 2021 arrives to consoles. Now, I'm not a football fan, but I can imagine that the preferred way of playing this would be right here on mouse, keyboard. It just seems the sort of game that you would play there. It also has Play Anywhere, so you can play between PC and Xbox. I suppose the cool thing about that would be on the go is playing it on Game Pass. I suppose that could be handy, but I've tried like the Hockey Manager and stuff, and for me, it's better anyway for playing keyboard and mouse. But here is Andy. Andy's with us, Twilight Princess of all games. But yeah, so Football Manager for me, not a big deal, but I don't think it's a console game anyway.
You played Football Manager?
I'm reading through the news, Andy.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the PS5 sold 118,000 units in Japan, and the Series S and X sold 155,000 in the UK. I think this is mostly to do with units because Sony and Microsoft originally sold their entire original shipment, and as I mentioned earlier, 3,500 at least went to this this group that was basically scalping them online, which I think is terrible. Apparently, so you pay a monthly subscription fee and you can get the new items, but you can also buy more than one to sell them on at eBay. And this group works by like they've set themselves up to like say you pay £10 a month, whatever the subscription is, you get access to their inventory because they scalp all the consoles, and then you can sell them on however you wish. So
I'd never heard of this before. Like, have you heard of this before?
Yeah, I've heard of it before. Zuber talked about it when. Sorry, a man who's not been. I don't work there anymore. He talked about it when I worked for him at his company. Not that he was part of the group.
No, probably not.
I did have a PS4 Slim in my house before Sony announced it. But no, he's probably not. But like at the end of the day, I think it's terrible for the general consumer, and I really hope that people do not spend the money in these and they just sit back and wait, and these guys have to end up losing money in these. But I can still see one sell on eBay for more than even the secondhand retailers in the UK. You get them at like £800, £900, and people are paying this just now because they're desperate to get one. And I think it's terrible for the general consumer. Secondhand retailers like Game, CX, all these sort of places, they're always going to do it. But see, when it's Joe Public setting up a group like this to scam Joe Public, especially in the shittiest year that we've had, all I can say to those guys is, fuck you. You're the worst kind of people. So let's move on. This is a strange one for me. Okay, so I'm reading the news tonight because I'll get through it quicker. The LG OLED TV has become the official partner, right? That's cool. That's cool. It makes sense because it's got the VRR, variable refresh rate, that we've talked about before, Andy, that you need 120 for everything that we needed, basically. Instead of having crosses in our Sony Bravias, you're going to have ticks for everything. This is strange because Microsoft are currently in partnership with Samsung, even as recent as last month. Remember, for their Note 20 launch, it was Game Pass that was getting promoted with it.
Yeah, well, maybe Samsung's like their phone partner and LG's their TV partner. Maybe it's separate.
I just thought they would have went with Samsung. Cool, fine, LG. It's still too pricey for me. It depends what happens on Black Friday, but I don't think I'm going to be getting one. From what I've played in next gen so far, 2 weeks in, I'm not desperate to buy another one. I have seen, like, on Miles earlier, I was playing Fidelity and Performance mode. Each has their merits that we'll talk about later, but I'm impressed by what I've seen on my TV. So yeah, London Underground done some cool stuff where they like changed the names of stations. Fine, cool. Star Wars Squadrons getting B-Wings and TIE Defenders in December after saying there's no more DLC. There's no DLC come for it. Cool, but you're going to add DLC because if the fans want it and whatever. Game, yeah, not all pre-orders went smoothly for the PS5. I'd say even less so than they did for the Series X. Game messed it up big time, and our Twilight Princess of YouTube himself got messed up by this, didn't you, Mr. Andy? You made the smart move, you ordered two, but in this day and age, why the fuck should we be ordering two consoles just to guarantee we get one? I mean, especially when you pay for delivery.
Yeah, like that's why I ordered two, because I had a feeling that Game would fuck it up. And what's happened?
Game did a game.
Yeah,
I mean,
fucked it up.
If you've listened to the podcast or watched the YouTube since we started, you'll know how many times I've been screwed over by Game. You'll know the day Tony Hawk's came out last year, I was sitting by my doorstep going, is it even going to arrive? I don't trust Game to deliver. If you walk in the store and they've got it, great, they're fine for that. But see, they're online, absolutely shocking. It's the worst gaming experience I've ever had. Online.
In fairness, they did get it to me. It did arrive like over a day later.
Not at the point when you paid for it before lunchtime delivery. Absolutely. See, if it was free delivery, you'd have went excusable. Like Amazon messed up the Series X. It was one day. They made a mistake. Fine, they at least answered. Game were giving you standardized emails.
Which were unrelated to what I was asking. Totally unrelated.
So, like when the Series X got delayed, Amazon at least said, look, it's in Edinburgh, sorry, there was a shipment error or something. They let me know all the steps of the way. Or let you know, sorry, but it was via me, but they let us know. And they even gave you, what was it, they gave you a code for something.
Like a code for Game Pass and a code for a controller or something.
Which is neat that they did something. Game are just like, yes, sorry, there's no PS5s left. And you're like, I know, that's why I ordered one, but you messed up my order, I want one. Anyway, they're all here now. They're all good with one caveat. Mine might be away for a wee while. But anyway, talk about that later. Yodo denied it was responsible for Game's problems, and Game denied it was responsible also. I think this was Game's problem, personally. Yep. Yodo managed with every other console from other places. It just seems to be Game. So I think it was Game. And then after this article, Game then blamed the size of the package, like how big the box is. It's not that big. I was kind of surprised when the box came out. It's not as big as I thought it would be. And I'm sorry, does Yodo not deliver wash machines and stuff on time? So Game, stop talking shit. You fucked up.
To be fair to Yodo, right? Like Yodo wasn't that bad. Like as soon as they had the console, like they like, updated the tracking number saying like we've got the console, cool. It's in, like they told me exactly what it was. It was down in England. That was like lunchtime on like release day. I'm like, okay, this is not like getting to me today. There's no fucking way. And then they updated again like the next day when it was like, okay, right, it's going to be delivered between X time and Y time. They didn't deliver it between those times. It was like I think they said they would deliver it between like 3 and 6, and it ended up being like 7. By the time
You understand shipping delays, traffic,
I get it.
road accidents.
Like,
but see, when it's game that you've paid, this is their fucking fault.
Yeah.
Yodo, the minute they got it, kept you on track. Do you know what I mean? So if
fine.
Game had organised to get it to Yodo in time, Yodo would have got it to you.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have any issue with what Yodo did. They were a bit late, but like it's 1 hour, that's fine.
Yeah.
But the issue I had was with Game, because Game, I paid for DPD shipping, because like I'm like, yeah, DPD, fucking reliable shipping company. Like I would trust DPD to ship anything. Like I deal with them all the time through work, and they're a great company. And DPD shipping, I don't mind paying $11.99 for, or $12.99 it was, $12.99 for pre-12 o'clock shipping, release day delivery. I'm like, cool, that's fine. I'll get it before lunchtime. It means it gives me the entire day to sit and play with it. Amazing. That's perfect. I don't mind paying the extra money for the delivery for that. Why did I pay more money for a Yodo delivery that came the next day?
So do you that
was my question. So yeah, I don't know why. And Games delivery like prices have skyrocketed like completely, because I ordered
£5 for the game. It's
I ordered the game. I ordered the game from them, which was actually in a deal that I got for like a launch deal, which was for buying a launch console. They gave me a specific code. I'm like, cool, that's fine. So I got like 20 quid off of, and that wasn't to do with the shipping being delayed or anything like that. This was just because I'd bought a console from them, and they wanted to try and sell me a game as well. So I bought Yakuza for £30. I'm like, oh, that's quite a good deal. Like that's cheaper than Ali got it for, and cheaper than we even originally paid for it, and cancelled that order from where it shopped to where it was. I'm like, oh, that's great. I'll get that. And then you get through to like the final stage of like buying the game, and it's like shipping, or here's your options. $4.99 standard shipping.
The last thing I got from the game was Tony Hawk's, right? Tony Hawk's, I'd imagine, and it was the one with the board, would have been heavier than your game package of Yakuza. $1.99 I paid for delivery in that, Andy.
So they've obviously bumped their delivery prices up like within since the pandemic, for sure.
Yeah. Do you think what happened, right? And this is my prediction, because they said DHL, and I know Game usually do use DHL because that's who delivered Tony Hawk's, right? Do you think they messed up so bad that DHL didn't have delivery slots and they just had to go with Yodo, and Yodo went, well, we'll fit it in? I think that's what happened.
I think they didn't realize. I do agree with them that what they're saying is probably true. Like they didn't realize how big the package was going to be. But Sony's known how big the box is going to be for probably months.
And you're the biggest games selling, like brand new games selling company in Britain. You surely should have went to Sony. How heavy are these? So I think maybe even with DHL, they booked in like half the weight or less than the weight. And DHL went, we're not taking these. And they went, shit. That could have been what happened.
And they had to scramble and reschedule deliveries and stuff like that.
And Yodo went, we're always available.
Yeah, and like Yodo probably got paid a fuckload of money for delivering them, and like probably quids in from it, and they delivered them as best they could. So, and they're not a great company, Yodo, but they did their best with that, and like I have no problem with what Yodo did. Like,
here's where it is a good company, and like the next console is probably going to be the Switch revision, the Switch Pro. Very. Two for two. Yeah, Amazon one for two. Like because they got my
PS5, my backup PS5 delivered to me on time, on release day. It was like 2 o'clock, or maybe even before that, but like 1 o'clock they got it to me for, which is perfect. But I only ordered that as a backup in case Game fucked it up, and Game fucked it up. So
sure. Anyway, moving on with the news, that was terrible. James Bond, right? They must listen. How many times have I... In fact, recently I'm sure I messaged you saying this is the first generation to go past without one James Bond game.
It was like within the last week, since the last show.
Since the last show. And I said, like, 360, PS2, PS1, even before that on the Master System, Mega Drive.
They all had them.
You had James Bonds in every console generation. Xbox One, PS4, not one. And then there was a big hoo-ha about, like, okay, it's because they have to be timed and fit in with the movies, and it's not as easy. And, like, IO... who do Hitman, have got the fucking license. That is the perfect match. And it's not tied to film, Andy. It's an origin story, which means these games don't have to be forced out to release with a movie. They can take their time. They can go, okay, here's a James Bond game. And I think it's going to be spectacular because Hitman 1, they've got the stealth. They've got the... Fucking put a skin of Hitman as James Bond and you've practically got a James Bond game if you add in stealth elements instead of just murder elements. Like, This is a perfect marriage for me. It's a games company that's I wasn't great at Hitman, and I'm usually good at stealth games, and Andy absolutely was terrible at it. But Hitman 1 last gen looked incredible, looks even better this gen. And 2 had varied maps with like balls and like galas and people walking, all James Bond style environments, and you're dressed as you're fucking Hitman. So they're just a shift away from James Bond. They've got the resources, now they've got the license. I'm so excited for this, Andy. And are you indifferent? Would you get this? Or?
Like I liked GoldenEye. GoldenEye was good.
No, because that's when it turned Bond from James Bond spy to James Bond kill everything that fucking moves. And then as it went on, James Bond just basically became Call of Duty, you know, because instead of taking this, James Bond's a spy first and foremost with a license to kill. They just started taking action elements from the later films and they turned that into the game. It's like James Bond doesn't just murder everyone with machine guns. Like if he can, he'll pull them around the corner and dress up as them and go in.
Yeah, which is exactly what Hitman does.
Exactly.
Perfect match, yeah.
Perfect. So anyway.
But yeah, no interest in that for me. Like, I think it makes perfect sense though. Like, and I hope the game does really well because the Hitman game, like the one that I played, the season 1 or whatever it was, like on the new rebranded one, that was really fucking cool. I just couldn't do it because I was terrible at it.
Sorry.
But I love the idea of it, like the whole idea of it, like having just a sandbox and like, okay, you've got this one objective is to kill this guy, and you can do that in any way you want.
So many ways.
And
like
there's like
poison the water, hide as a
ways.
guard. You can take part in the fashion show and stab him backstage. You can infiltrate the roof. You can go from the kitchen up and poison his food. You can just run in and shoot him in the face. You can stealth all the way through the building and strangle him. Like you can infiltrate yourself and wait for him to leave in a helicopter after the fashion show is done. Like. Absolutely incredible, and I will get Hitman 3 eventually, but I need to find out if, like, you know how Hitman 1 got a remake for Hitman, well, an upgrade for Hitman 2, and you got it in the engine. Like, I want a complete pack, so when I get Hitman 3, like, because I don't want to jump into Hitman 3, I do want to finish 1 and then 2, because I think the problem was, did I not buy it? It was episodic, and I get stuck in the episode, and then I never went back for the other 2. Yeah,
you did, yeah.
I think that's what happened. And then I never bought 2 because of that. But I would happily buy like all 3 of them if they all integrate into one seamless package. Do you know what I mean? That would be awesome. Almost like a game as a service in a way. But like James Bond, yay. Anyway, let's run through these news stories. So the next one, this one pisses me off because I've had a couple issues with this already. Right? Sony is not hearing PS5 storage complaints. Right?
Nonsense.
What? Are you kidding? Yeah. So like. Day 1, my console was full, as you know, Andy, right? And then I had to juggle stuff. And everyone knows not to use an external just now. Me and Andy think we might have found the cause. In fact, just about every hard drive I was Googling that's an affordable, expandable storage that isn't SSD at the moment is 3.0.
Yep.
Sony and Microsoft have both stated. Now, my Xbox is frozen a few times, and it hasn't since I've took my hard drive out. My Xbox, I had to hard reset a few times, and it's because I had an old hard drive in it. It would play the games, but every so often it would just freeze up, couldn't open anything. And I took my hard drive out, and it's what? Because the other day I was talking to my friend Ian, Andy's friend Ian as well, and I was saying, yeah, it's 3.1. I was listening to specs to him, and then I went, shit, that's what's fucking wrong with my Xbox. So I reckon what's happening is people are putting, it might not be the brand names, but plenty of people have the no brand ones from last generation. My brother-in-law's got about 6 of them, and it's just cheapo Tesco, you know, it does the job. People are plugging these slow-ass hard drives in and trying to run games onto the PS5, and that's what's crashing them because it's going, well, we can't run this off of this. Yeah. So don't plug your expandable in until they've made a firm update. And even to buy a 3.1, there was one I found, and it was like £100 for a 2 terabyte. That's not cheap, really, to be fair, and especially because we're now on SSD. So my answer is give me access. I've opened up a PlayStation a few times. Give me access to that slot. Give me access to that slot so that I can put my SSD in. Like, why deactivate it? You know, just release a spec list. And we've talked about it last year. We're not going to get into it, but it's probably because they've not got a partner lined up yet to get those branded PS5 sticks out. It's needed now, Sony, because games are going to come out within the next 2 months. You've got like Phoenix Gods, whatever the fuck that game's called now. You get that coming out. That's not a small game. You've got all the folk buying new games at Christmas, like Sackboy. You've got Call of Duty, which is huge anyway. Then January and stuff, you're going to have Ratchet coming soon. You need to have this space ready by the start of next year. Like 100%. You really do. I was at the worst thing happened to me, as you know, Andy. I was playing through Miles. I've never seen it before. Bing! Obviously, it was auto-saving. Couldn't even move, Andy. My options were close the game or go to storage. You need at least 733 megabytes of storage to save. Oh. And I'm like, what? Just don't save. Just this is terrible. Just let me fucking keep playing. Yeah. It's like, no, quit the game or go to storage and delete stuff. And I'm like, what? So I went to storage. The save file's 3 megabytes. I'm like, you're telling me this console needs a gigabyte free to save?
Bizarre.
So I had to then go in and delete. Like, I couldn't just delete a gigabyte. I had to delete a 20 gig game. And I'm like, this is not fucking right. It's fine for me because I've got faster internet. But see, if I was in my flat, I'd be like, it's going to take me a day to get this game back.
Yeah.
And are you telling me that basically I can't save anything? Like, you can't save a 3 megabyte file? Come on, man. But anyway, we'll talk about the UI later on. But that was atrocious. Like, I sent you the screenshot. I've never seen anything like that in my life before. Never. Like,
they definitely need to address that ASAP. And the fact that they've come out and said that they're not hearing complaints about storage is mental. And it's just going to galvanize people to go like, fucking hashtag free the SSD.
That was the
like,
hashtag.
Yeah. And I 100% back that hashtag. Like, that is just nonsense. Like, it's really close-minded from Sony, because there's probably 50% of people, I would say, have filled their hard drive already. Like, mine is not quite full, but that's because I've been very, very restrained with what I've installed on it. Because I was looking through like what games I own on like PS4, like on the PS5 store, and I'm like, oh, I'd really like to download that and see how it looks on PS5. And I'm like, nah, I can't. I don't have enough space.
Yeah, and it's very much more, not that the Xbox has got much more, but it's definitely more prominent in the PS5, I would say. Like the storage running out quick. I wouldn't even say I was being greedy with what I had on. I had, 8 games, 9 games, and my console was full, so I took a couple of them off. But then I'm playing Miles, and it says, we don't even have enough storage to save, bud. You can't keep playing. I'm like, I'm not losing my fucking space. Like, fuck this. So I deleted something else, and I'm like, this isn't great. Like, and like we talked about last week, see, the games as a service, they're not going to do very well on PlayStation because they're games you need to keep on your hard drive.
I think the games as a service are, like, I'm sure this last week, like, the games as a service are going to do fine, but people are going to be more reluctant to buy other games.
Yeah, and so they'll feel it in their bottom line.
Yeah,
because it's like, oh, Last of Us 2 is coming out. Well, it's out, but imagine that, and folk are like, well, I can't play it because then I'm going to have to delete my COD, Fortnite, and GTA Online.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And do you know what? Do you know
Red Dead Online on its own, like
it's not just and it's still the same size.
100 gig.
100 gig for Red Dead Online. Are you joking? It's like the full game's like 160. So it's like, come on. But anyway, it's not just us, Andy. The casual gamers are going to feel this because you know casual gamers like I do. There's plenty of them in this country, and it's FIFA, COD, and GTA. Those 3 games are going to fill your PS5. Like, if I put the new Call of Duty on, if I reinstall GTA, and if I put FIFA on my hard drive, there's not much space left.
Nope.
And that's even if they all fit, because they're giant games. So yeah, Sony need to address SSD. If they can't get the partner working right, they need to get, okay, these will work. For the people that need it now, we will figure out how to put them in. Right? See, for the mums and dads that have just bought Spider-Man for their kids, you're going to be fine for a wee while, but eventually Sony's going to have the branded ones to sell to mum and dad over the counter, because
we lost Ali, but yeah, he's saying that they will need to come out with their own branded solution that is like kind of easy plug and play, like because obviously with the slot it comes with a screw, it comes with a screw in it that you need to unscrew and then rescrew it into what size SSD you buy. And that's fine for us. Like, that's used to installing components on computers and whatnot, no issue. But yeah, the average mum and dad gamer, like the average mum and dad of like a kid that's got this console down the line, is going to struggle with this. So you're going to need to have some easier pop-in solution that doesn't involve a screw, to be honest. Like, Xbox has got it bang on with their one. Okay, maybe it's going to be 20 quid dearer than the PS5 solution, but Xbox just plug in and that's it. Like, oh, you run out of memory? Cool, buy this thing. Plug it in the back. That's your, it's labeled and everything. You don't need to do anything else. You don't need to disassemble your console. But on PS5, having to take the sides off for one, not going to be easy for everyone. I think it's easier for Ali. But yeah, and then having to plug in this hard drive thing, no good, no good. We spoke about that already. There's a big Capcom leak, which is suggesting that a new Final Fight, Power Stone, and Mega Man
no idea
are going to be coming. Hello, you back?
No idea what happened there. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, we pretty much finished talking about that anyway. And I was just saying that Xbox has got so much easier solution for the parents Like, just buy this thing, plug it in, and it works. So easy. It's fucking labeled and everything. Like, no need to disassemble your console or anything. Like, it's wild. Did you see the Capcom leak this week?
Yeah. It's not surprising. Like, they've got their IPs in development for sequels. Sure. Of course they do.
Yeah. I think it's a weird one, though. Like, this whoever it is that's got the data is, like, pure threatening them with it. They're like, give us $1 billion in Bitcoin or we're going to release all of the information.
Like, you've leaked it already.
Capcom's like, okay. Well, did you know what I don't get is, like, why don't Capcom just do, like,
what Microsoft did?
Yeah, we're just going to tell you everything. Like, here's this. Like, this is now in development. Now in development. Now in development. Boom, 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 boom. There you go. All you need is one fucking title card or a screenshot or anything.
Yep.
Like, cool. Just do one YouTube video. Like, I'll do it for you right now. Capcom. I am Capcom. We're making a new Final Fight game. Here is the title card.
Yep.
We are in work on the new Power Stone game. Here is a screenshot. We are working on Mega Man. Here is a character design.
Dislike.
That's it. That's all you need to do. And then you get ahead of all of the hacking shit, and you don't need to worry about it anymore.
That's what you do. Like, that's what you do. Like, see when a trailer leaks, like several studios do it, and they just go, okay, here's the trailer.
Yeah.
And it's like see when they don't do it, it's like, why aren't you just jumping on that? Release the original trailer and people will shut up. But anyway, let's move on because we've got a lot to talk about tonight. Phoenix Rising was born out an Assassin's Creed bug. Because of course it was.
What was the bug? That's what I was interested in.
Don't know. Doesn't matter. Xbox Series X 4K Blu-ray player seemingly cannot output black color correctly. Now, this is true. If you turn up the brightness, you can see that the blacks are actually grey. However, Microsoft's addressed it and said, we're going to patch it. It's an issue with the software, not the hardware, so that's patchable. Ubisoft's Skull and Bones studio director steps down because he's sick of the game never coming out and probably got done for sexual harassment.
Well, it's not the first one, but definitely the second one. It was the second one.
Cyberpunk 2077 original score's out now. Also, if you are watching this and you're going to get Cyberpunk, beware because it has leaked on torrent sites. People have it, they've been playing it, they've been streaming it. Don't know how it happened, but the full game is out there. Not great, to be fair, but there it is. Kate Bishop's finally coming out in about a week's time on the Avengers. I will go back and try Kate Bishop.
Oh, 8th of December, so that's only 2 weeks. In fact, it's 2 weeks away.
2 weeks, sorry. Yeah, 2 weeks from now. I will play it.
I'll play it, yeah.
Like, I did like the Avengers. I have no issues. Marvel Spider-Man files are 25% smaller on PS5. I can confirm this. It is true. For both games, Spider-Man Remastered is smaller than Spider-Man PS4, and Miles Morales is smaller than Spider-Man Miles Morales PS4.
Bizarre. This is the new story of the week, this one.
PS5 users are inserting the disc the wrong way around. Not going to get into it on here because Sony are going to fix my broken disc drive. That was like it when it came out the box. If anybody wants further details in that story, give me a message on Twitter. But basically, my console, do you know what the worst part was? Right, obviously the initial shock of like my disc drive's not working, but 2 hours 45 minutes on hold to Sony, like because I got home and I was like sat there 2 hours 45 minutes, nothing but the same music all the way through. But this is now Tuesday and they've still not sent me my return labels because that would be fucking pricey to return. See, when my PS3 launch model broke, right? It was still in warranty. It was about a year in. I think it's 3 years warranty this one came with from what I see in the box.
Okay.
Because I remember pulling out the leaflets during L3 Sprint and it said, I'm sure it's 3 years. But yeah, yours might be like mine. The disc drive might not work out the box, but if you put this in the wrong way around, that could also do damage to it. I don't know what Sony's policy is in repairing those, but basically the PS3 guy came to my house, went, hi, I'm here to pick up the console, took it. See, the next day, another guy came in, here's a brand new console. I know they can't do that with the PS5 and it might be times have changed, but like on the PS5, basically I have to send it away. The worst thing, Andy, the return time is up to 4 weeks. And if it's going to be that long, you know fine well it's not going to be back in time for Christmas.
No. But you've at least you've got the Series X as well, so you can play the Series X.
And I've got my PS4 for COD. That's the only other real new game that I've got on the PS5.
And the other games you can kind of wait to play. The one thing I will say about the people inserting their disc the wrong way around, I think it's pretty easy to do, to be honest.
Well, we said this before. The console looks like the lip should be at the top, so it should go in that way. And see when it's standing up the way, it's kind of hard to decipher, but it shouldn't allow discs in the wrong way for a start.
Yeah, I mean, I think every console does, though, and we've just never really noticed it before because it's always been pretty clear which way the disc go in. Because, like, if you remember on PS3 and PS4, there's a lip underneath where the disc goes. It's pretty obvious where it goes, like what way it goes in. And but the issue I found is, right, so like when you're setting up the console, it gives you the option, like, do you want to put a disc in to start installing it? And it shows you the console horizontal, which is probably the first time I've seen it horizontal. Like, every other time I've seen it, like, it's vertical in all the marketing and everything. And it shows you it horizontal. It's like, put the disc in, and it shows you the way to put the disc in. Fine. But nobody has their console horizontal. Everyone's got their console vertical. So that's why it's been confusing, because Sony hasn't, like, done quite the right job in their marketing of the console, putting the disc in.
Yeah. So anyway, Curry called off the PS5 launch after selling consoles early.
To bots, probably.
See, this has been an updated story. Doom Eternal physical has been cancelled on Switch. It's coming out digital, and I think the reasoning behind it is that game's huge. I think it would have had to be 2 cartridges, and they realised this can't work in one, or it's going to be like a massive day one download, so they went, it's not worth it. I think that's basically it would have been an install file in the cartridge, and they know the backlash that people go, oh, there's nothing on this cart. Right, so Doom Physical no longer exists. Eventually, originally they'd said that it's been cancelled altogether, but it hasn't, which means it is working. They just, having 2 cartridges would mean having to put that thing out there about £100.
Yeah,
so
the cartridge is not expensive, so yeah, I totally understand that.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I probably won't play that one there for some reason. So basically, after saying that they're not interested in a Game Pass-like service, Jim Ryan said there is news about their answer to Game Pass, but not today. That was his answer. So they are going to do something, and I think it's going to be the PS Plus collection. I think they're going to add to that to get a big backlog of PS4 games in it and do it that way. I don't think you're going to get day one, like, say, Last of Us 3 or Miles Morales or Ratchet. I think it's going to be the PS Plus collection is going to expand, and they're going to go, there's your answer to Game Pass. You don't have to pay any extra. It's included with Plus. I think that's going to be their answer.
I think that what they're going to, and they're basically, the only reason that they're not saying anything right now, right, is because they're waiting to get a bit further away from Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima, so that they can go, every Sony PS4 game is now in PlayStation Plus collection. You can play every single one. And
you know how, like, Xbox charge extra for Game Pass, obviously? I think they're going to turn around and go, it's included for Plus. And that is a good selling point. 100%. It's a good selling point. And if you can play all the big PS4 games, I think you're right. So it might be like next year, once it's on like the Classics collection, the £15 each or whatever, they will then go, okay, so starting today, you'll be able to play all these games, and it will flash up all these PS4 games on the PS Plus collection for no extra costs. And it'll be like,
and they'll have the PS5 enhancements for almost all of them. Like, some of them have that already, and we'll get into that. But
Last of Us 2 is getting one because it was leaked by Walmart with remastered enhancements, so it is getting one. But I think that's their answer. See, when I read this, I went, the PS Plus collection sounded like a launch offer at first. Do you know what I mean? But I think the popularity of it, they've obviously seen, hold on, folk are liking these games, mostly because we can only fit those ones in the fucking hard drive. But like,
well, if you installed all of them, the hard drive would be...
You couldn't install all of them.
Full.
You can't. But I think this is their answer. And I think it's like no extra charge. The PS Plus collection's permanent, and look, here's all these new games added, boom, 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 and they'll have some third-party developers tied in. Do you know what I mean? And that'll be what they do. But anyway, moving on. A first edition box trading card booster pack sold for $360,000. That's crazy for a pack of cards. Some folk get the wrong thing, like, and I think this is the warehouse. They were getting sent like cat food and Nerf guns and stuff instead of the PS5s. I would have been absolutely livid and argued with a delivery driver if that happened to me. Amazon are still looking into it, and the people haven't got consoles yet. That's insane. So basically, someone stole that console and replaced it with something that weighed similar.
Some Christmas temp, I would bet, has been like, oh, look, this is a temporary job. I don't give a fuck. See all the people that phoned in sick the next day after this happened?
They're the culprits.
They're the people.
Because they're sitting at home with a throne of PS5s.
Yeah.
Demon Souls Mystery Door has been solved, and we kind of predicted it last week. It'll be collect X amount of something, and you collect like 30 coins, and you can unlock it to get a weapon. It's not that exciting. Dragon's Dogma 2, Street Fighter 6. They're obviously happening, but they've been announced. There's a Tetris movie coming to Apple TV starring Taron Egerton, who was in the Kingsman: The Secret Service, is all I know him
Oh,
from.
and he was Elton John.
He was Elton
in the
John.
Elton John movie.
I might watch this because I've got Apple TV. Don't know how exciting it's going to be, but
remember-
I think that guy gets screwed over quite badly, by the way, like the Tetris guy. I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, he 100% did. Do you remember on a podcast, like maybe a year or two ago, we came up with a pitch for a viable Tetris movie?
Yeah.
Do you think that is this movie?
Yeah, of course it is, because how many things do we predict here that comes true?
Exactly. We did not predict the pandemic, though. We didn't predict that.
Sony's confirmed it will add a key Xbox Series X visual feature, which is variable refresh rate, which doesn't apply to anyone with a 4K TV that was bought before this year. And only certain TVs that came out this year have variable refresh rate in them. So, great. Like, this is the crazy thing, right? 8K, 120 frames a second, variable refresh rate, not available unless you bought your TV last month. And it has to be a certain type of TV, or even, like, people could have bought new TVs this year going, oh, I can't wait, and then went, why have I got all these crosses? Oh, because it's only certain models. So here's my advice. If you got a 4K TV and you bought it recently, like I bought mine, 3 years ago, so did Andy 2 years ago, a year ago, keep it and wait for next year, because next year's when the wave will come in that's got all this stuff as standard, and the ones that are out this year that have got it will be cheaper next Black Friday. So that's my plan, unless something miraculous happens on Friday and the prices just dunk, but I doubt it.
No, they're not going to.
I think next year is when you're going to be looking at the affordable prices for these variable refresh rate TVs that's going to improve the picture quality.
Yeah.
Absolutely every PS5 sold out, says Sony. So all Sony stock is gone. And they've not even announced when there's a restock. Like Series X has only just been getting a restock this week. And that came out, 2-3 weeks ago? Sony, I would imagine, I think it's going to be a wee bit of a longer wait. I think you're looking into December before they get restocks, if they get restocks.
I think you're looking at next year for a PS5 at this point. Like, 100%.
See, that's what worries me about mine. Like when they said it's going to be away for 4 weeks, right? I'm calculating 4 weeks. I'm like, that's mid-December. I don't think I'm seeing my console to January. And then I'm like, what if some fucker steals it at the post office? Like all these consoles are getting nicked, and like, surely that has to be insured by Sony though if they're paying postage.
Oh yeah, so
if my PS5 goes missing, Sony owes me a PS5. But my issue was it's like they're in short supply because of parts and stuff like that. But I'm like 4 weeks.
I would say that normally what they do with console launches is they hold back a certain amount for replacements and repairs for the defective units, because they don't it's the worst thing in the world for them to have somebody go like, oh, my console's broken, blah blah blah, and they go, right, okay, send it back to us, and then they get it and they're like, yeah, it's fucked, but we don't have any more that we can send you, so we'll get your money back. Like, that's the worst thing in the world for them, because that's a bad Trustpilot review or a bad review on a podcast or whatever. They don't want that, so they will have held back some units to replace faulty ones.
Mine shouldn't be too bad, because looking at Spawnway's breakdown, and after opening it myself because there's a manual eject button, because I was seeing if that was holding it back or anything. Like I said, for further details on the issue, just give me a message. But basically, it wasn't working day one. So inside the console, that unit just comes straight off. So literally, I could go in my unit, unplug it, take it out, and put a flat, see, like that. I could put a flat one on. That's your digital console. So even Spawnwave said it was added as an afterthought, like me and you joked about. They took this to the boardroom, and the guy in the boardroom went, where do they play the 4K discs on? And they went, stick it there. It's going to go there. Because it just looks awkward. And like after taking it off, it is completely separate from the rest of the board. There's just a power cable to the board. So you unplug it and take it out, your console will still work, but it's a digital edition. So that's exactly what happened. So you could literally, not that you would because it would devalue your console by £100, take the disk drive out, fix one of these
Oh, we lost him again. Yeah, so what you said is you take the side flap off with the disc on it, get a new side flap for a digital edition, and then you take the disk drive off and then slap the other one on, and then you're good to go, because it's the same console inside apart from that one bit. And I would be interested to see with the digital edition if when you strip that down, if it's got that on the motherboard for it. I would guess it probably does, because that's the only difference between the two models, is that disk drive being attached. I haven't seen anyone do a teardown of the digital edition yet to compare it, to be honest, but someone will do it. Alex said his PC keeps going to the password screen.
No idea.
Weird.
what's happening. Like my PC, it keeps like locking the screen and saying enter password. I'm like, so I don't know if my timeout settings are messed up or because I haven't keys or something. But basically, so let's get through these news because there's quite a lot to talk about, and I've still got work to do tomorrow.
There's no work. It's a pandemic. Work is cancelled.
I have sadly to work from home. Right, so basically, crap. Where are we? There. Right, so Tetris movie, Xbox, PS5 sold out. Watch Dogs Legion's not saving correctly, and it won't be fixed till December.
That's nonsense.
That's terrible for a game that's one of their flagship titles now.
And being heavy pushed in Black Friday sales as well, even though there's a fucking game-breaking bug in it.
Yeah. So we'll skip that. Super Mario 3 sealed sold well. The 13 remake was received so poorly that the 2003 original outsold it. And now this was a niche game back then. Now people know it and the fans don't even want it. Come on. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity won't spawn its own series. It means it didn't sell too well because it released the day after. It launched in the middle of the Series X and the PS5. See, if they'd held this back to March, it would have sold more.
Yep.
Or kept it for a launch for the obvious Switch Pro or whatever it's called next year. The revision that's coming next year, this should have launched alongside it. See, releasing it the day after the Series X, wrong move.
I would imagine that Breath of the Wild 2 is going to come with the Switch Pro.
Well, you're probably right, but still, they should have held this back to January at least. Come on. So I don't think it sold well. It released the day after the Series X. I want it, and even I went, do you know what? I'll get that another time. Well, that says everything. UK TV reality star from Made in Chelsea was criticised for selling his PS5, his promotional PS5 as well, Andy, for £1,200. So he gets sent one by Sony, to be seen playing it and whatever, and he sold it for £1,000. Sony should do something about that. That surely was in the terms and conditions of sending it, but then...
Yeah, I don't think they'll send it to him again.
No, he'll never get anything else now.
No. Obviously, the promotional ones that people get sent out, generally they're for YouTubers and reviewers and IGNs, GameSpot.
Then again, you get guys like Michael B. Jordan got one. He was in adverts. You know what I mean? So they want celebrities to influence people that don't watch the IGN and YouTube and all this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But they want.
So you're watching a reality show, Andy. Yeah. You're seeing a PS5. That's another one sold. That's how Samsung managed to sell the S9 and the Samsungs to Tasha, because she's seen them constantly being used by the folk in a TV show and in the adverts. So.
But they wanted that guy to be seen playing the console. They didn't want him to go and sell it on fucking. No,
you're not getting another one. But at the end of the day, if he didn't ask for it and didn't sign any NDAs or anything, Sony's they can't do anything.
No.
But that's kind of scummy from a guy that I'd imagine gets paid quite a bit for being in Made in Chelsea, which is a profitable TV show. Anyway,
it's not that much money for somebody like that, I don't think.
No, but still. Anyway, maybe he didn't want it. Maybe they gave him it thinking he'd want it. He's like,
I don't play games. Fuck this.
Let's put it on eBay, and he put it for bids, and it went for £1,000 because. Yeah. Right. Anyway, so UK retailers are struggling. Tesco's and John Lewis websites crashed. We expect that. Over 200,000 users. Series X again this week crashed. Curry's website today, and it's live tomorrow again. They've got more Series X to put out, and I imagine the website will crash because I actually went in Curry's for something else. I can't remember what I was looking for. It was. Was that PS5? It was something to do with the PS5. It wasn't the console, but I just tried to go to Curry's website and it just, boom, experiencing errors. And I'm like, Series X is coming out today again. Someone in Sweden drew the PlayStation symbols in the sky. The Chrysler building, Miles Morales, this was a strange story. So basically, the Chrysler building in 2019 got sold to a new owner. And the owner refused the rights or wanted too much for the rights for Miles Morales to use it. So they've got a random building in its place. And what the fuck? If you who cares though? Realistically, I'm playing through it and I don't notice any different from Spider-Man that came out in 2018. I'm not going to go, where's that Chrysler building? I'm swinging through the city. I'm Spider-Man. So it's no big loss to Spider-Man, but you've just lost free advertising for your fucking building, mate. If it's worth that much that you want to sell you want to sell the rights to its image, it must be worth something. You gave up free advertising that would have been seen by hundreds of thousands of people playing this game over the holidays. So your fucking fault. Don't put the Chrysler building in any game. Don't even paint it. Fuck.
I can't say I've noticed them. Is the Avengers Tower in yes. Miles?
Avengers Tower's still there. Oscorp's a small building. Remember I sent you the picture because they've obviously downsized since the last game because they went bust, and that's hilarious because they've took away the building. It's small, but the Avengers Tower is still there. Sonic movie sequel is scheduled to start production in March. The code name is Emerald Hill because of course it is.
Nice.
Yeah, we talked about Cyberpunk. So apparently the PS5's had some fan noise. I've not experienced this, and it's because of a small sticker on the inside that you can take off and fix it.
You do. It should be noted though. You do have to break your warranty seal in order to access it. That's the only problem.
Yeah, I didn't break my warranty seal because I was only on the side where you put the SSD.
Yeah.
And basically, if you break the warranty seal, some secondhand retailers won't buy it in, and Sony won't fix it if you broke that warranty seal.
Nope.
They're like, you've got in parts and damaged it yourself.
Yeah, they blame you for it.
So, what would happen in that situation? Like, would Sony go, "We'll fix it, but you're getting billed for it," or would they just go, "No, we're not touching it"?
They could do either one. Like, if they have parts, then they could offer to fix it, but they should have to give you the price first before, like, they would actually go ahead and fix it. They'd be like, "Oh, this is £200 to fix. Do you want us to do that, or do you want the console back?" But I mean, with the fan noise, with the sticker thing, like, it seems like a manufacturing issue, that one, because it seems to be not common, but there's definitely a few out there. So it's probably one bad batch.
At least no one's vaping into them that I've seen yet.
Yeah, I mean, I guarantee someone's fucking done it.
Right, so Galactus is coming into Fortnite. Cool.
Yeah, he's been coming for a long time, but he's coming on the 4th of December. He arrives.
Excellent. UK sales. Okay, so we'll read this first. The PSVR Mega Pack launching for Christmas is quite overpriced. It's like $400 odd bucks.
Yeah, $300 is £300,
and that comes with like not even big games. To be fair, not even.
It's 5 games. If you bought this individually, not new, but if you bought these individually, you could get them for easy less than $200. So don't buy this pack. It's way overpriced.
Yeah,
way overpriced.
Yeah, way overpriced. So yes, the PlayStation 5 title Miles Morales that we're talking about entered the charts this week. It debuted at number 3, which is quite big, so we'll run it from bottom to top. Minecraft Switch, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Animal Crossing, Watch Dogs 3, Hyrule Warriors, good for it being number 6. Fortnite, The Last Laugh bundle, so basically DLC because the game's free. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Miles Morales, FIFA 21, and COD Black Ops. Valhalla was good last week, putting COD off for the launch week. I'm impressed.
Really pleased, yeah.
Because it's not happened in years that someone's beat it the day it came out, and Assassin's Creed to do it, good for it, man. Yakuza's celebrating, I think it's this Saturday, 15th anniversary, and they're going to add some upcoming developments. I'd imagine they're going to announce the success of Yakuza Like a Dragon, maybe a spin-off, maybe the remaster of Kiwami 3, because you know how they've done Kiwami 1 and 2. Yep. They're doing the third one. They announced that last year, but they said we've got nothing to show you just now, but we're doing it, which says to me they're going to work through like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at least, because 6 was obviously last gen anyway. Everything before that was the previous gens, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, but I mean 4 and 5 are already on PS4.
But they're not remastered, is what I mean.
No, they're not remastered.
Like they might do the Kiwami up to 5 because 6 is already in the newer engine, like Yakuza Like a Dragon and stuff. So
yeah,
they might just do like well, it's not just a remaster. Sorry, Kiwami's the remake. Like, do you know what I mean? They might remaster 6. Maybe 5's okay to remaster it, but I definitely think the first ones that came out in PS2 and that, like 1 to 4 was PS2, wasn't it? And then Yakuza
definitely 1 to 3.
Yeah, Yakuza 5 was PS3. I know that anyway. So we'll wait and see, but that's cool. The new Super Mario Bros. Game & Watch can run Doom, because why wouldn't it be able to?
Everything can run Doom.
Ubisoft, so there's missing Watch Dogs Legion says Assassin's Creed Valhalla PS4 upgrade and PS5. I didn't read this news story, it was yours.
So this one, it's a weird one because it seems to be with, if you have the PS4 disc of Watch Dogs Legion or Assassin's Creed Valhalla and you put it into your PS5, it'll play fine.
Yeah.
But it'll play the PS4 version.
There's issues with that we'll talk about later that we'll get into.
Yeah, and
there's issues with this.
It won't pull down the PS5 version. If you go to the PS5 version in the store, it will ask you to buy it, blah, blah, blah. There is a workaround, and that is to make a Turkish user on the yeah. So you have to make a Turkish profile. So basically, like, make a profile that's based in Turkey with an address from Turkey, and use the Turkish store. And if you've got your disc in, it will let you go and download the game, the PS5 version of the game, for free, because you've got the disc. Weird.
I seen something, a workaround that was crazy. Remember how Currys were doing that? If you missed out day one, here's your code. It will reduce it from £1,000 thing.
Yeah,
there was a way around
I like
it.
that.
Yeah, but remember they done that. You went on Curry's website. It was like $1,500. If you don't buy this with a code, you're not getting it.
Yeah.
Because there was people buying it for $1,000 odd.
Yeah.
Right? So there was people on Reddit, and this was working. And people were showing them off on launch day. If you added the PS5 to your wish list and bought it through your wish list, you got it at the normal price without a code. And people clocked onto this, and there's like at least 10 people I've seen on like holding a PS5 going, the code, no code for me, but I got it in the second wave. Because basically it was like if your order get messed up, like with the Series X, remember with the Klarna orders get messed up. Through. Basically that was happening in Curry's, and it was like, sorry, we don't have a pre-order for you. They were releasing some more of them and just saying, look, here's a code that will bring it down from 1,000 odd to 449. Buy it with that and you get it. But these people realized if you added it to its wish list, it bypassed the code step and just sold it to you.
Do you know, that's what happened to me with remember I got the PS4 Pro for £200 like a year or two ago. That's what happened to me because they cancelled the order, and then somebody kicked off about it in a paper, I remember, but about not getting his PS4 for like that price. It was always a price crunch. But anybody that had ordered it, like they got sent a code and they said, okay, if you want to buy that bundle, it's here. It'll show up at like £600, but if you put this code in, then it'll discount it to the 200 for you. So that's how I ended up getting it through that way. So it's cool. So
the next story is a bit of a strange one. It's basketball players all over the place. Giannis, I can't pronounce his second name, he's Greek, can't say it, is going to be in FIFA in the Volta mode. Why though?
But why?
Yeah, but why? WWE Battlegrounds, Dame Lillard's going to be in that, and he's another basketball player. Well, why? Like, I know Dame loves WWE. Like, his new shoes were called the Ric Flairs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's probably it. He's probably went to them and went like, oh, like,
or
any chance I can be, any chance he can be in the game. He loves the game.
Yeah, because look at New Day, we'll tie that in. New Day from the WWE, like we've talked about before, up, down, down, Xavier Woods show, Austin Creed, and they're all in gears and it fits perfectly. Like, it doesn't look stupid, but Giannis, like, he's going to be the tallest fucking footballer on that pitch, isn't he? 6'4", I think he is, 6'3". He's crazy big. There's a new Tomb Raider game coming out, Andy, but it's a mobile game. Are you excited?
No, I'm not excited, but it looks, do you know what, like, it looks like a Switch game, like, from the art style, and, like, I would play on Switch, 100%.
It might come to Switch. So, anyway, the next one is something about your bathwater girl getting banned from YouTube.
So, yeah, Belle Delphine.
Andy bought some of the water.
I did not buy the water. Belle Delphine got banned from YouTube, basically for posting sexually explicit content on YouTube, which, okay, like, she does post some quite kind of risky sort of stuff, but, like, so I watched a video about this earlier by, Philip DeFranco. Okay, well, he does like a bunch of new stuff. He's a very big, he's got like 6 million subscribers. But anyway, I can't believe you don't know who he is. But anyway, he did a video about it, and like he was basically talking about how she was comparing like what the content she'd done to things like their music videos, like that new Nicki Minaj song, like WAP. Yeah, comparing it to that, and it's just like the stuff she's doing is not any worse than what they're doing in that video. So why is she getting banned and why are they not?
Because it's the market.
It's money. It's money.
Anyway, the Stadia executive, it's not the same guy that made the comments before, said there's 400 games on development for the platform. Cool, because there's only 150 at the moment. Are these exclusives? Are they going to come out before it's cancelled?
Nope.
Who knows? We'll wait and see. Mine's is in the drawer. PlayStation 5 was scalped. We know this anyway. Red Dead Online, like we talked about before, is coming out December 1st for £5. 123 gigabyte. Don't see myself getting this. Xbox
not off a fiver to take up that much room in my hard drive, like especially on PS4.
Nah, Xbox has got this locked down because they've said pre-order models are outdated. It's considering a deposit system. This is absolutely what they should fucking do. They should go, give us £50 now.
Yep.
Give us £50 now and you can get your console, because all these scalpers will be like, we don't have £50 for all these consoles we want to buy. 3,500. Like, we don't have, what is that, 350,000, or would it be 125,000 pounds?
Be 150,000.
Yeah, we don't have that. We don't have that money. So, like, that would stop it. It wouldn't stop it fully because there's still going to be scalpers going, I've got £500, I've pre-ordered a bunch with that. But what they should do, and I said this before, and maybe they'll listen, tie it to the fucking gamer tag. Do you want to buy one? Sign in, make a username now, and you have to put credit card details on file that are valid. Or if you've got an existing one, you can buy one with that.
I mean, the only issue with that is like if you wanted to give it on or resell it, and we've seen Microsoft have issues with that before.
No. This is just for the pre-order. If you want to pre-order, log in
Okay,
with your
got
user
you.
account.
Yeah.
It doesn't tie to the console. It's just if you want to buy one, they're online only now, this generation. Like last gen, it was still, but you won't work offline. Well, guess what? Tough. Halfway through last gen, it became, if you don't have internet, it doesn't work, right? So
don't do it,
now, Xbox Series X, you need the internet to work. So if you don't have internet now, you shouldn't be a gamer. That's what the general consensus is across the world, right? So tie it in, right? You can get them from Amazon or wherever, but what you get is you get a thing where, okay, you've pre-ordered it from Amazon, but you still need to sign in with your gamer tag to verify the purchase to get it sent to you. And if they do that, then go, okay, you've got a gamer tag. Yep, it's not just a bot setting one up. Okay, you can get it. If you can, or if you want to buy one and you're a new gamer, set one up, tie in some credit card details. We're going to do a basic, not like a credit check, but we're going to like take £1 out your account and put it back, do that sort of thing.
Yep.
There has to be a way of doing it like that. There has to be.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Or I mean, they could just do it through like the Game Pass model. Like if they had that go up and running properly, then they could have just said, "Look, we're only selling it through this." Or they could have. Do you know what they could have done? They could have done early access, which is only available on this model. Like put it out like 2 weeks early and done it through that, and that would have been a massive like.
What if you're a Game Pass subscriber?
A Game Pass Ultimate subscriber that you can transfer it into this new like pay monthly thing where you get your console. Put it 2 weeks early, nice and exclusive for people, and like I think that would be really cool.
I've still not seen one person who's talking about getting their model on Klarna. Not one.
No one.
So,
not in the UK anyway.
Not in the UK, but so the Raven Remastered, Saints Row, Get Out of Hell, Bleed 2 and Stacking is the hot deals on games with gold. But
Stacking!
It just proves that gold's finally dead. Stacking's on awful game.
Amazing.
Andy told me it was one of the best games he played on PS3 back then, and I downloaded it. It was horrible. So Fortnite launches a £10 monthly subscription off in December because, of course, it does.
You'll buy this, guaranteed. Guarantee you buy this.
Why?
Did you see the bottom picture that I posted?
Mandalorian. But can't I just buy him separate?
No, he's in the subscription. So
if I stop my subscription, do I get to keep him?
I think so, yeah.
Right. I'll get it then. Because I will get the Mandalorian.
Yeah, it looks fucking cool. And there's a back bling for a Baby Yoda, so...
Which means Galactus isn't killing it for that long.
No, he's like 10 minutes maybe.
Yeah. So Soccer Pros are concerned about FIFA using the likeness. Now, the last thing that I've seen about this was people were complaining because for the past few years, Charles Barkley does Inside NBA on TNT or on NBA Game Pass with Shaq O'Neal, as you know, with Kenny Florin and I can't remember the other guy's name, the white guy. But like those guys do it, and Charles Barkley's not in it. He's not in the Legacy Phoenix Suns team or anything. It's like, why? And he's like, they don't fucking pay me for it. He's like, you want to use my face? Pay me. So they took him out of the game. I think there's some royalties that go to the younger players, but he's like, legacy players don't get paid. So he's like, why the fuck should I let my likeness go in? I think that's why Michael Jordan wasn't in a lot of games like NBA Playgrounds at first, because Michael Jordan's obviously like, grease my palm and I can be in the game. Yeah. So like soccer stars are now jumping on this because FIFA's one of the biggest selling games worldwide. Absolutely, if you're using my fucking face. However, there's one caveat to that. If you've signed a disclaimer with your football club that they own your rights and images and they've signed up for FIFA, you're out of luck, mate.
Yep.
Because if your face is on a bus, you're not getting paid for it. The club is. If your face is an advert for JD Sports to sell the strip, that's not your money. Do you know what I mean? Like, so FIFA falls in that category. And I believe if your lawyer goes and reads his contract, it will say that your likeness, a bit like WWE superstars, it says your likeness is owned by WWE. You work for us.
Totally. So, and that's exactly how it works. The reason that this is being brought up now is because of David Beckham. So David Beckham,
or PES, was it, or FIFA?
Yeah, well, no, he's on FIFA now. So the thing
he was in PES last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he was in PES. Yeah, but like the thing is with FIFA, like FIFA made a big deal about him, and they did a Beckham edition of the game and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've seen it on my dashboard.
Yeah, and the difference with Beckham is that Beckham's a retired player, so he's not beholden to a club. He owns his own like person rights now. Yeah, so he can sell his brand and like go to.
But his wife, because his wife's
his wife's his manager or whatever it is. But yeah, so like FIFA can come to them and say, look, we've got this offer for you. Like, how much money do you want to do this? And he's like, oh, £4 million. And I think that's what he got paid, £4 million for being like the face of like this edition of FIFA and like having his likeness in the game and all that. And some other football players have come up and gone like, hold on a minute, like I'm a fucking big name, just like David Beckham, but I'm still playing. Like, where's my money?
Well,
and,
the club's
I'm
got
in the game. Yeah, exactly. That's it.
What you need to do then, if you're worried about that money, and I'm sorry, but football players get paid an astronomical amount anyway.
Yeah.
If you're worried about the money from that, you need to renegotiate your contract, and I guarantee your club will be like, tough. You want to play for us or not?
Yeah.
Look how much you're getting paid, mate.
Yeah.
Like most folk don't make that in a year. What you get in a month, get out.
Yeah, and I think the thing is with the people that are complaining about it seem to be more older professional players now. They were probably not aware of how much money FIFA makes and how much money there was in it for like people like Beckham and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's happened here, because the one I seen complaining about it most loudly was Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who's he's like 38. He's a Swedish player. He's
38.
38.
Wow.
Yeah, he's still playing. He's a ridiculous player. Like, honestly, like, see if you just watch a compilation of his goals, like, you'd be impressed.
I wouldn't, because football's boring, but
no, but Zlatan is not boring. Like, he scores the most ridiculous.
Oh, he has to be, because there's only like so many ways you can score in that. But anyway,
wow, Zlatan has found every single one.
Football's not for me. But I'm sorry, but I can't side with football players on this, when technically at the end of the day you're an entertainer.
Oh yeah, totally.
You're getting paid more than most movie stars. You're getting paid more than the nurses, the doctors, the army. And I get it, it's sponsorships, but still, go home and cry in your mansion if you're worried about FIFA money. Like, do you know what? It's like, oh, I can't afford that 7th Ferrari for Christmas, but David Beckham can now. Fuck off. Marry a Spice Girl.
Yeah, the younger players, I think don't care about this, and they're happy for them to be in FIFA because
it's brand awareness.
Yeah, exactly, and it builds their personal brand as well.
The younger players are probably like, I really want to be in the cover this year. I really want to be in the cover.
Yeah, exactly.
They
all play FIFA as well.
Well, yeah, every young NBA player's like, oh, if I can, and they're taking photos, going, look, Mum, I made the cover. Like, all these years I've been playing it since I was a kid. Now I'm in the cover, like Zion and stuff. It's big, but he won't see that money. But I understand Charles Barkley, he's a retired player, so he's like, I don't play for a fucking team. You don't own my likeness. Get out of the fucking game. And they're like, oh, but we've got the rights for NBA TNT. They don't own my likeness. I just work for the news company. Do you know what I mean? It's different when you work for a professional sports team. It's widely known that it's like you sign over your rights. Do you know what I mean? Just look at the WWE guys that not just the rights. WWE guys leave the company and don't own the rights to their name. Their own name. Look, see Cody Rhodes. He couldn't call himself Cody Rhodes till this year. And he went to WWE about 6 years ago, 6 years ago. And it's because WWE owned the rights for his name. Do you know what I mean? Chris Jericho's actually fighting just now because he's like, you're playing all my old videos on the network. And they're like, yeah, but you work for us, so it's our property. And he's like, but it's me. And now I don't work for you. I don't want you showing me there. And he's quoting data protection and stuff now. He's like,
I mean, I don't know if
they're like, but you are playing a character. That's a bit like somebody that comes off a TV show, or like Harrison Ford.
You can't show me anymore
because I don't work there. It doesn't work like that. They've bought your rights for that.
Surely he still gets some kind of cut off of it.
He doesn't. No, he doesn't get any residual off the network. So he's a bit like.
I suppose I can see why he's annoyed about it. Because you would think they would give him something. Like if people are still watching.
He doesn't work there.
No. But like, think about with Spotify. Like, say Spotify, if I'm an artist who's no longer in a band, then I would still get a cut.
You still get a cut,
songwriter.
Yeah, of course, but I don't think any of the superstars get a cut of the network money. Remember, they were saying that if
weird contract stuff.
Also, the WWE's in big trouble for the contracts because they're contracted as independent contractors. So that means that you don't work for WWE, you're in partnership with them. And then they came out and said, you can't do Twitch and make money off it without giving us a cut. And some of them, like Paige especially, some they get fired over it because they refused to give their Twitch over to WWE because they're like, I'm an independent contractor, here's my contract. So do you know what happened? WWE used the early termination clause and said, bye-bye then. So that's your issue. WWE have got a stranglehold over the wrestling market, and they have for years. They have had since the early 2000s when they beat WCW, which was their only big competition. AEW is there now, but it's nowhere near in WWE scale. Like
not yet, but like I think stuff like that, like that's gonna push people away and push people in.
All they're going to have to do is change. But do you know what I mean? WWE's at a position just now, and they have been for many years. If you want to work for the big boys, we're your option. AEW is climbing, but it's nowhere near. Like my gran knew what WWF was. Do you know what I mean? Like WWE is the household name. It's like Nike, Adidas, Disney. If you think about wrestling, you're like, oh, do you watch the WWF or do you watch the WWE? No one really knows AEW that much because they're new. They've been about for a year, but like still. WWE are a bit shitty with that. I'm an independent contractor, which means I don't have many
100%.
rights. They have to pay their own doctor's bills. They have to pay for their own medications and everything like that, right? But you can't let me have a wee side hustle and make Twitch. Like Xavier Woods is okay because he set up down, down on the network, and it branched off from there. So it was grown internally. But see all these ones going home, going, I'm going to go on Twitch. The younger ones, they're like, no, give us that. We're getting a cut of that. I'm an independent contractor.
They probably get a cut of up, down, I would imagine. Then if it's set up within their like,
Xavier Woods will get a cut of it, obviously. Well,
no, I mean WWE will take a cut of that.
WWE own it.
Okay.
See the network, they gave Xavier Woods the platform, and then Xavier Woods expanded it. So if Xavier Woods left, he wouldn't get up, down. It would be like, but all it would do is set up Awesome Creed Plays, and folk would jump on it. Do you know what I mean? Because folk know him now. I think that's why a lot of the time on these shows, he's put on the beef a bit, and he doesn't look as into it as he was. Like, he hasn't really wrestled. Like Kofi and Big E did. He comes out with the trumpet. So he's getting chubbier. So it's as if...
He's sitting playing games and eating Cheetos.
He's making his way in, and like everyone knew him as Xavier Woods, but like now everybody's known him as Austin Creed, and I think he's implanting that name in people's minds because they can't take... Well, they can, because they're not to Cody. Or did they? I can't remember.
Xavier Woods is his wrestling name, isn't it?
Yeah. So like,
he's built up his own brand as Austin Creed, which is his own name. They
which
can't
is
take that
smart
from
to do, because then if he leaves, and it's a bit like Batista. The reason that he could use Batista is because the way he spelled it in the wrestling, he took the U out. But when you spell Batista, it's P-A-U. So he's Dave Batista. Yeah. So. Anyway, that's all the news for this week. Let's get on to the meat of this variety plate that we've got. We've had 2 weeks with the Series 6, Andy. We've had almost a week with the PS5. So, thoughts, opinions, likes, dislikes, and then we can compare the two. So, first off, I've done an unboxing on L3 Sprint. It's right there. We'll start with the unboxing because that's where you start. It feels budget compared to opening that Series 6. You've got 2 bits of cardboard in your console. I was like, what? I've just opened this. Oh, it felt like the Holy Grail with lovely, luxuriously packaged with even like a wee cardboard bit round saying "Power Your Dreams," sitting right in the middle to old school 2 bits of cardboard. There's your fucking PlayStation.
Even like, do you know what? Even the Switch had a better opening than the Xbox. Than the PS4, PS5.
Yeah, because you slid the tray out and it was all in each individual wee bits. PS5. And did you watch my unboxing? I'll just spoil it.
I did, yeah. I did watch it.
I opened that, I shook it, and it felt like the DualSense was loose. It fucking was. It's not even in a slot designed for it. It's just like a hollowed out bit of cardboard. There's your DualSense. What? How many of them are going to get damaged, by the way? Because there's going to be people roughhousing them in the warehouse.
I mean, I haven't seen any so far that have been damaged, but down the line probably. But yeah, the unboxing experience, like Xbox wins hands fucking down. Like,
no question.
10 points for Xbox, like maybe 2 for Sony.
We'll say this. It's the first time that any console like that has done anything along those lines. In fact, any console has done something as premium feeling. And these consoles were both the same price point. But Sony couldn't have known that's what was going to go into the...
No, they would have had no idea that Microsoft was planning to like actually make a cool unboxing. They wanted people to do an unboxing video and go like, this is fucking cool. And then tell other people that this is cool to unbox, and then other people will buy it and be like, "Yeah, this is fucking cool to unbox." Because it feels special when you unbox that console.
You feel like, oh wow, I'm not just buying a piece of kit for buying my TV, which is what you're doing. It's like, wow, do you know what I mean? You're lifting it out like no other console. Like ever. I've been excited. Not every console ever has been like that. I've been excited about buying a console before, but it's that extra wee bit of hype of like, oh, I've just made the right choice, you know, that sort of thing. So like, there's no question. I will say this, and I said it before, the PS5 box isn't as massive. In fact, the PS5 itself is big, but it's not as massive as, see all these size comparisons. That's the right size comparison, 100%, because I've got mine next to each other. That is the size. But when you've got them in front of you, it doesn't feel like that. This is wider, like it's like that more than... It's not that much taller than the Series 6.
No, it's not. It's fine.
So, like, see when you see it, you will be like, okay, it's big, but all these videos were made out as if you're buying Nelly the elephant. Do you know what I mean? To go behind the TV or something, like they made out as if it was absolutely ginormous, like you're putting Godzilla in. I'm not even talking about the memes and stuff. I'm talking about the journalists that were reviewing the PS5 going, wow, it's absolutely huge. Like even Greg Miller going, I'm a giant man and this is half the size of me. And I held it up and I'm like, you must be about the size of me. Like, you're not even as tall as Andy then if this is the size, because like I held it up to me and I was watching Greg Miller's video and I'm like, this is about the same size. So I wouldn't consider myself giant man, tallish, but like, what did you think?
It feels like I totally agree. It does feel like a big console, but I think it was totally overblown, like how big the console is. Like it's not as tall as my gaming PC, which is what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like the height of my PC and like thick as fuck, and it's nothing like that. And the Xbox as well, like I think people like really blow it out of proportion, like to how big it is as well, and it's actually quite small, the Series X.
See, when once you get them both, the Series X feels kind of small. Like it's a weird shape for a console, but not as weird as the Alien other shit.
See, I love the shape of the Series X. I think it's fucking great. Like it's a perfect black monolith. Like,
I think it's nice. It feels like a modern piece of home tech, but like not exactly eye catching. But this sitting there, it's like, what's that thing? But the Series X itself, like that, you look at a wee bit more than this, because that once it's sitting there, it's a square, it's a rectangle, it's a cuboid. Do you know what I mean? Like it's fine. But this, what I will say is, I've not felt heat or cool off of this at all. But obviously that, because of where the fans are, like you can feel it at the top. So the other thing with this, to add to the unboxing thing, see around this black bit here, the inner part, it's shiny. I expected it to have the bit of plastic as stand. Didn't even have that. It was almost as if just make them and box them, make them and box them, make them and box them, because generally like a shiny piece of equipment, like the sides aren't, they're kind of like a textured sort of plastic, but
they're matte,
shiny Xbox One looking like black.
It's gonna scratch to fuck.
It's gonna scratch really badly. Like, and the buttons here are kind of fumbly because you can't really see the two buttons here. There's two clicky buttons for eject and power, and like you have to kind of feel for them sometimes, because
that console won't have an eject button on it. It's not a dick.
Using it as an example. Do you know what I mean? It will have a power button here, and like you have to feel for it on the main one. But anyway, like setting it up, we'll go into that. Like I again used the app like I did for this. Boom, 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 fast. This was faster than that.
But do you think so? I found the opposite.
I have more games in this than I do for that. And it was installing games and stuff. And it asked me if I wanted to install a game while I was doing the setup, and it asked me if I wanted a disc in while I was doing the setup. I chose to download Miles, obviously. Only issue was when I opened up the console, when it came to the home screen, it went bum 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 bum. Miles PS4 was installed. I was like, good for you. But we'll get to that. But you didn't use the app again, did you?
No, I did not use the app on either console, and the PS5 100% took longer than the Xbox to set up. I'm not sure why, but I think it's just, I don't know, there was just more things to do on it. Like, so going through, logging into my account, like obviously, again, I didn't do it through the app, so I had to type in all the stuff. But I always like to do that to get a feel for the controller and feel for the D-pads.
No.
Typing and stuff.
Either of these, the first thing to do is give me an option not to type on a fucking controller. Bing, I'm using that app and hitting continue.
No, I quite like that experience of like going in, logging in, putting my password and that. And like I sent you a picture of like the disc bit, like when that came up, because that the Xbox didn't do that. It's like, oh, do you want to install a game in the background while we're continuing to set up the system? I was like, do you know what? Fuck yes, that's awesome. Because then hopefully by the time I finish doing this, like my game will be nearly ready to play. That's great, because I know games take a wee while to install to get you started to play. So I put in Assassin's Creed to install it, and I didn't actually play it for hours after that, because I went and downloaded a shitload of my games first, and explored the system very thoroughly. But the setup, I would say, for the Series X is better than for the PlayStation 5. Apart from that one disc thing, it would be cool if you could put the disc in during the Xbox Series X setup. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so that's 2 points for Xbox.
2 points for Xbox. So far, Xbox is like way in the lead.
So,
what's he doing? Watching a man work. Okay, right, cool. I got you.
So next thing would be like the user interface. And
we've talked about it before. The only thing next gen about the user interface on the Series X is they've got one singular dynamic theme. The rest of it is the same.
Exact same as Xbox One.
There's a counterpoint to that. It's tried and tested and works out the box. Okay, PS5 interface looks futuristic, looks really smooth. Nothing's intuitive. It's hidden behind an extra step. It feels like even exiting a game, you can't even hold the power button to get the power menu up on your controller. You have to tap it and go down and go to the right to get the power. Like the amount of times at night I've been holding that button and going, "Where's the God?" down the bottom. So they've added an extra step, which are, don't get me wrong, they are going to improve and refine all this because it's a new user interface, and I think once it's up and running properly, it does. At the moment, I'm kind of siding over here with the Series X because even though it didn't feel next gen, it works the way it should. Like there's no hiccups, there's nothing. They've refined this over the Xbox One lifespan to a point where it's like, it works, like it's good, it's fine. This, however, it feels like we've got a beta flight or an alpha test and we're just trying out the features for them to iron out. Like I've had system crashes, I've had games freezing up like I demonstrated earlier when we were talking about it. I've had the console just turn itself off. I've had the menu flag up and just disappear in the middle of a game. I wasn't even pushing that button. Nothing like to make me go, this isn't working, the UI, but enough for me to go, there's a few bugs in here that need ironed out that are clearly popping up. Other things like trophies aren't obvious to look at, and I'm not a big trophies fan, but that's fucking irritating to get to. Finding your games and looking at the time played, man, that's a fucking trek. I'm like, do you know what? I don't even care how long I've played it. Like, the only reason I went back into it tonight was to try and find how long I played Miles Morales to show you how many hours I've played. You have to push the menu button down to home, then you have to go over to your profile, then you have to go down to games, and then like it's not that it's not quick when it does stuff, it's just that they've got layers upon layers of menus to get to what you want. Like it should be, oh, there it is, bing, there it is, bing, there it is, bing. Like, why can't I access my trophies like I did before? Like, oh, there's the trophy menu, boom, there we go. Why do I have to go in to the home menu, to my profile, then to my trophies? Like, why is it hidden like that? I don't get it. Other thing that's a nitpick for me, but a lot of folk aren't complaining as much. I think the icons, I want a choice to resize them slightly because I think sometimes it's unreadable. And I think I pointed this out to you the other night when we were playing. Like some of the games, you're squinting, and I've got a 55-inch TV, and like basically what they've done is up here, your icons are like maybe that size, whereas in the PS4 you've got them all the way along. Fine, you can see them right there. Like it's not taking away the futuristic feel, Sony. Just make them like give me the option for small, medium, and large icons. Then people can choose. Like I'd rather that. Like the rest of your setup's all cool. I like that. I like how the store's integrated. It's right there, pal. There's your store. But some of the choices to come along with the UI at launch for me feel a bit more like a beta model. Like I've downloaded the Xbox Insider program again. It's like yeah. Whereas Xbox, it doesn't feel next gen out the box, but it works. So see, to be honest, I don't think for me there's any goals scored there, but I think that's a draw on that because this one doesn't work how it should, and this one is the exact same as Xbox One, but it works.
I mean, I will give Microsoft props for they did improve it, right? But they just released it early, essentially, which was a bad move. They should have waited until the Series X came out to give people something new to muck around with. They improved the store significantly, but again, it was already like that on the X and the S before the new console came out. The menu system on the Xbox Series X works fine, but it's not exciting to go around and look around to see the new things because there's nothing new. PlayStation 5, like they've tried new things for sure. And like they've tried to push trophies and like and achievements and like the cards and stuff like that more. But they've hidden the trophies away, which really bugs me because like I'm big into getting trophies, and I couldn't even find my trophies at first. I had no idea where they were, and like having to go press a button, go down to that bottom tiny fucking menu, which is I don't get why that menu is so small. Like that's the menu you need. That menu should be bigger, and the cards should be smaller, if anything, because the cards are really optional things that you can dig into if you want. And the menu is something you're going to access all the time, and you need to go down to that, go to the profile.
Game tiles.
Yeah,
A quarter of the screen's big, but my game's away up here.
And the other thing they've done with trophies on this, which bugs me even more, and like I don't know if you had Greg Miller talking about this as well, because it's annoying as fuck if you're used to your trophies already. So like, see when you actually go into the trophies.
Yes.
Now, always before in PS, all the PlayStation consoles that have had trophies, so PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PlayStation Vita, all of them have had the same trophy layout, and it was completely perfect. You had the trophies listed at the top, the overall completion of the game, and this is when once you go into a game, and then it listed all the trophies down, platinum, and then all the ones down from that. This one, it has like a big giant tiles, and they're all horizontal, and it's horrible.
It's really annoying because I'm not into trophies, but like obviously I want 100% Spider-Man games, and I was looking at Miles Morales because I finished that now, but like I'm playing through them, and I'm like, why the fuck am I scrolling down? Like it's not easy to compare them this way, like not easy to see. And this whole jump in at a point to redo them doesn't work for every trophy because, like, I'm at a bit where I didn't get, like, say that it's a fight challenge. I didn't get all 3 stars. I got 2. I should be able to go jump into that one. Like, they advertise, it's like, I can't do it. But then they said it's up to the developer. Hold on. Miles Morales is owned by Sony. So shouldn't that be one of the highlights of it that I can go, oh, do you know what? I'll go back to that fight challenge. Boom. And why can't I instantly go to that? The only one that offered me instant, Andy, was the challenge I was currently in. Why? I don't need to zoom here. I'm fucking here.
Yeah. I think that is a feature, and I heard somebody else talking about this earlier, but it was maybe on the Kind of Funny Games cast. That's actually a feature that is kind of redundant now because of how fast the load times are. Like, you don't need it, especially like, I mean, the game that's designed to show off the PlayStation 5, the Astro's Playroom, like you can do that in that game, like jump into bits, but you can do that from the game itself anyway. Like you can just go to any section of the game at any time, and it takes us 1 second.
So the UI, we're just going to agree that it's a draw game.
UI is a draw, yeah. PlayStation 5 is going to be better.
It's going to be better, but it's not out.
It's not yet. No, not yet. There's too many issues with it.
Series X, out the box, fine. See if you sold your console like at the start of the year. Then you've got a new UI. See if you're like us and you had it to the end. 2 months ago, you got this UI.
Yeah.
So this one looks impressive. It looks like it's going to be magical. It doesn't feel magical out the box because it's got hiccups and stuff's hidden. It's not optimized. So nul point for UI. Next, I want to talk about speed, Andy, right? Because when you were talking about it there, it reminded me, Series X, this is me basing it off of the owning the One X for so long, since it came out, the past, 2-3 years. And obviously, I had a PS4 Pro and a Slim, so I'm basing it off of that for this, right? And you were the same. So, well, you didn't have the One X, but anyway, the Series X for me, the big feature they advertised: quick resume. Bing, look at the top corner. Look at the top corner. Quick resume. It's not that fast, man. It's not fast. It's faster, but it's not that pow, 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 pow. Even in games. I still get the fucking assassin loading screen that I've had since fucking PS3. Why the fuck do I want to walk about as Ivor when you load up the map? The map should be loaded. Load that fucking map and let me Viking instantly. Because, and I'm going to have to compare it directly, Miles Morales, big open world game. Did I or did I not show you a fucking fast travel?
Oh, yeah, it's instant.
Wow. Like, the only time that you have to actually enable the cutscene for the train and the options, right? Because usually when you fast travel in Spider-Man, it's got the with Spider-Man doing something in the train. PS4, it's there as standard. Seeing PS5, you click fast travel, it goes root. You get a fade to black, and then Miles walks up the steps. I'm not joking. It's 5 seconds, if even that long. It fades to black just to show you that animation, Andy, just so that it doesn't stutter loading them in. That's it.
And do you know what? Like how quickly the game loads as well. Like so
from cold, you boot it up.
Cold, yeah. You start in that game in the system
10 seconds max.
Yeah, easy. You start the game, push your X button, and to push your X button to start the game up from the home screen, and then the game like it shows you two flashes, and then you choose to continue your game, and you're like in the game in like 2 seconds.
So and it's not even like
10,
it loads.
15 seconds.
Not even like it loads. It just you push the minute you push continue, it fades to black, and you're in the game.
Like the first time I did that, I was like, "Oh my god!" Because obviously you don't really notice that with the first time you play the game because you're getting the intro and like the cutscene and all that sort of stuff setting up the story, so you don't really notice there not being a load time. But when you continue the game, like the second time you played it, oh man, like that's fucking noticeable. In fairness to Xbox, the games that I've played on Xbox have loaded much faster than on the old Xbox console.
Yeah, they will have, right. What was our categories before the draw game at UI? It was unboxing experience and
unboxing and shit. What was the other one? Setup.
Was it setup?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. No. I thought it was. Fuck, we forgot already. But anyway, unboxing, Xbox definitely won.
The next one, Xbox won.
UI was 0.
UI was no score, but this one is speeds, and I'm giving it to PS5, man, because from turning the fucking console on, Xbox is fast, but it is not as fast as that. And they did say this had the faster SSD, even from scratch. They said SSD. I'm basing this on the two big games just now: Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I've got in the Series X, and Miles Morales on this. Assassin's Creed Valhalla on that is not fast to load. It's faster than the last game, but you expect that in iterations. But I've still got loading screens. I've still got an Assassin's Creed, a Ubisoft thing to go through. See, with this, boom, Miles on a train, continue. I'm in the game.
And you know, like I've played Assassin's Creed on PS5, and I can't say that I noticed the load screens too much. So maybe it loads faster on PS5. Like I can't say I was frustrated by the load time on it at all. But it's definitely not as fast as Miles. Like Miles is like so fast.
Right, so we are now at a current score of 2-1. PlayStation scores with speed, which is obviously important this generation. So next up, what I want to go on to is graphics, Andy. And for me, it's kind of an unfair contest because there's nothing aside from Gears Tactics that is day one for this. However, I'll consider Sea of Thieves because third-party games, I don't really think that's a fair judge of character because they're not being optimized as much as they should be. Sea of Thieves looks incredible. Gears Tactics looks okay. If we had Halo Infinite, we'd have a fucking battle on our hands here. But unfortunately, the Series X has to take a fall here because Miles Morales on that beast there, holy a fuck, is the only words I can say for it. I have tried it in fidelity mode. Lovely. I've tried it in performance mode. Wow, like I can't decide what one I like better. Like I said, I'm going to leave this then. Fidelity mode, it's got more graphical features, right? You've got the ray tracing, you've got the sunlight effects, you've got particle effects, but it's 30 frames a second. You swap that onto your performance mode. Yes, you don't get the lighting and some lovely features and the reflections and stuff like that. They don't look as good. But see, when you're swinging through that city, smooth as fucking butter. Like, honestly, Sea of Thieves can't compete with it, neither can Gears Tactics. So for me, that's a goal to PlayStation 5 on graphics so far.
So for me, I would say that Xbox is doing a great job with the older games and making them look better.
Oh, yeah.
I think that definitely needs to be said. Like, I can't believe how good those Xbox 360 games look.
Gears of War 2.
Unreal, man.
Gears of War 2 is 15 years old.
Yeah, it's 15 years old. And it looks like an Xbox One game that came out last year. Like 100%. Like, it looks amazing. And same Assassin's Creed 1 I played as well. And I honestly, like, okay, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles that, like, Odyssey has, but it looks fucking good. Like, literally like an Xbox One game, which is impressive that they can do that with a console. And obviously you can't do that on the PlayStation 5 because those games are not available. So, but having said that, the bells and whistles, I think, went out for me on the PlayStation 5. Like, Miles looks incredible. Assassin's Creed doesn't look as good as Miles, which is weird. Like, really strange. And like,
Miles is first party designed specifically for them.
That's true, yeah. But like, I would have expected like Assassin's Creed just to look a bit better than it does. Like,
can't though because it's been developed for multi-platforms.
Yeah, I know, and like it's definitely held back, and like it just feels like a PS4 game to me.
Valhalla on the Series X also feels like a PS4 game that's had some enhancements.
Yeah.
It's definitely been held back by last gen, which is a shame because the game's really good, but there's graphical glitches. There's a part where sunlight was shining and the floor was doing this to me just before the show. And the game's incredible. It's one of my favorite Assassin's Creeds already, but it's definitely a held back game. A bit like Black Flag on the PS4. You knew that could have worked on PS3 and it fucking did. So going forward, the next game, they'll do what they did last time and they'll cut it off. Assassin's Creed next time will be next gen only.
Yeah, I think so as well. So yeah, for me, graphics, and then you've got, I think the kind of big selling point for PS5 is that they've got Astro built in that is just a showpiece.
Oh, show off! It's lovely to look at.
For the graphics, it looks incredible. Like it's.
Do you know
it's
what that got me excited for though, Andy? My Ratchet and Clank. See when Ratchet hits next year, that's going to look beautiful. Like it looked great in the trailers already, right? But see, Astro's Playroom looked better than the trailers for Ratchet, and I'm like, that Ratchet's going to look so fucking good, man. Like unreally good.
So yeah, for me, and this is how the PlayStation 5 wins, I think, for me, and it sounds like it's to you as well. And the reason for it winning is because I did something weird today, right? That I wouldn't normally have done, but it's because of screenshots that you sent me, like the day before yesterday. So like you sent me pictures of like the original Spider-Man game, like the remastered version on PS5.
Oh
and I'm like, that looks fucking amazing. Like I need to see that to check it out. And I'm gonna buy the upgrade to the Miles to get that, and that's fine. It's like 20 quid or something, cool. And I'll play a bit of Spider-Man again. But I want to get my save file back, right? Which the only way for me to do it is to get the PS4 version.
Hold on.
Yeah.
This is easy if you've got it digital or you still have
very easy. Very easy.
All I did was go to my Spider-Man, download PS4, load it up with the most recent update, which it had as standard because it was out by then. R1 at the menu, upload save, close, swap over. Oh, loading time. That's what it was. Was it loading time? What was it? Was it set?
PS5 on speed.
It was unboxing.
I think it was set up.
Yeah, it must have been set up.
Yeah.
Right. So so basically R1 and then you jump in, and what happened, even though all the fucking day one journals said you don't get your trophies for Spider-Man, there's no point, your save file, blah blah, what happened? Ping ping ping. I sent you a video of all, because I platinumed it obviously. Ping 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 ping, which is great because it means that what I will do is I will start that as New Game Plus. So that I'm getting a fresh experience. There's extra gadgets to unlock in the remastered version, Andy. You can get your spider like drone to the crawly one. That's been added in. Even Miles Morales, like we'll jump over to that. I won't spoil too much, but see at the end of the game, the minute you finish, it gives you a whole bunch of new collectibles to go and get to unlock more of the story. Nice. It also gives you 3 parts of your skill tree that cannot be unlocked during the main campaign. It says New Game Plus. There's a costume that can only be unlocked in New Game Plus. So it's giving you a reason to go into that, which for me is awesome because I've beasted through it and now I want to play New Game Plus once I've finished it. But here's my issue. Like, we'll go back to your point in a minute. Spider-Man Remastered, because I'm tying everything in together. So one of the trophies is earn all the gadgets, right? It's going to be easier for me to upgrade all the gadgets on last gen and then transfer the trophy over because there's extra gadgets to level up in the new one. Plus, I won't get 100. If I 100% the remastered, I can't put my save back. So what's going to be easier for me, and it looks fine upscaled, it's just not got the bells and whistles, is play the PS4 version on standard, right? And get all my, in fact, even New Game Plus, I might as well finish it all the PS4 version because it's getting a better Peter anyway, and upload all my trophies because, this is what I was working towards at the end of PS4 there anyway, not get much to do, and then upload it to the new one. I know it sounds silly, but...
Well, you could work on that while your PS5's away getting repaired. Like,
that's
makes sense for you,
That's what I'm going to do. So, back to what you were saying, like, you have to go and buy the disc.
So yeah, I had to go buy the disc again for Spider-Man because obviously I'd finished it and sold it on, and I never actually platinumed it, and I was never intending to go back. But this gives me the option to do so, and like I wouldn't have bought this without this upgrade because I really enjoyed the game, but I don't want to start from scratch again. So the fact that I can import my save over and just finish off. And well, not even do a new game, just like mess around in the city and finish off the challenges and stuff like that I was still
and
to
the
do.
DLC that you didn't do,
and I never played the DLC either at all, so I can play it through the DLC. Perfect for me, absolutely perfect. So I'm really pleased that they did that. So it's a shame they didn't have it at launch, but it's there now, like very very close to launch. So that's cool.
So some parts of it look better than Miles Morales, Andy. Some parts of it, and the reason being is because Miles is set in the winter of that year, so like. It's a bit duller colours and he wears a black suit and stuff. And I realised that today. See, when I was swinging about and like when you finish the game, you get kind of a new weather, almost like a sunrise, to signify you've won. And the golden rays and the purple hues and everything. I'm like, oh my God, it looks fucking beautiful. But most of the time, for 3/4 of the game, it's at
like
night
cloudy,
time. And it's cloudy. And then at the end of the game, it's snowstormy. And it's all cool effects, but you can't get full appreciation. So now that I'm playing it, there's a lot to polish off from Miles as well, not as much. I will also point out here, all the journals that said it took them 9 hours to 100% that must have been playing on an easier mode than me. I chose amazing, which is 1 below ultimate, the hardest. And you've obviously got 2 below it. So is it easy, medium, hard, and then extra hard? Maybe
I think so. What there is
easy, super easy.
There's easy and super easy basically. Amazing is normal, difficult.
Yeah, so I played in normal.
Yeah.
I polished off most of the collectibles, and I've got 21 hours out of it, Andy.
Nice.
That to me is reasonable. Like I was like, oh my god, I'm going to finish this game in a few hours. I didn't fuck about that much in it. Yeah. Like, and I didn't die. Like, well, I died once. Tell a lie, I died once. Did die once. New enemy type, wasn't familiar.
I've died twice already. So.
And like, I'm fucking happy with the game. Like, I'll tie in what I've been playing here as well. Like, Miles Morales is a better game than the PS4 version. Like, I've finished the story, and see, all in, it does do away with the shit. It's still got some of the shit of its own, like with some of the puzzles that are bollocks. But like, the most chunk of the story is action, 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 action. Miles is more relatable than the Peter Parker represented. Like, and he's more current than Peter Parker ever will be. And that's the whole point in Miles Morales. Do you know what I mean? The story from start to finish was a banger. Like every part of it. And they did have a couple of old Spider-Man villains, but they didn't rely on the main villain being Doc Ock. Like 100%, there's a part at the start and you've got to where the Tinkerer uses a kind of Doc Ock looking arm. Do you know what I thought was? Doc Ock's going to be the fucking boss in this again, isn't he? Like,
well, don't tell us if it is, because
I won't. But on PS4, my biggest problem with it, as you know, is Mr. Negative was shown as the main villain, and at the end they went, okay, now fight Doc Ock as normal. Oh, even though the PS4 is my favorite, PS4 was my favorite game on PS4. I will say for my entire playthrough, Andy, Peter sucks. Like every time you meet him in the story without his mask, it's like this is bullshit. Like bring back normal Peter, because he's the same height, he's taller, but like he looks younger. His face looks younger than Miles Morales. Miles Morales is meant to be what, 16, 17 in this, and Peter's meant to be 10 years older than him. Are you fucking kidding me? I don't believe that he's done Spider-Man for as long as he's saying he's going to be. Like, he looks too young. He looks like he's in the year below Miles at school.
Yeah. So for because I want to talk. I think we should do like just a wee bit about like launch lineup.
We're not finished, Andy. We're not. I'm just telling you.
No.
Another 2 categories. Launch lineup was the last one. So let's move on to the next category that was planned.
Is the next one? Well, who wins that one? That's graphics is PS5.
2. I've already gave it the score, so it's 2.
You gave it 2. Cool. So controller.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Controller.
This is a bit of a no contest for me, and I'll tell you why in a minute. That controller's fine. It's the same as this has the same problem as the UI. All they've done is added that button.
Well, I disagree slightly there because
grips.
Because the grips are better and the triggers feel better.
But
I'll give them that, and it's totally fine. And I think you've been slightly spoiled on the Xbox side because of the Elite controller. And I think a lot of people have had this because I've seen this a lot. Like people just like selling their Xbox Series X controller because they've already got a better controller, so they don't need this other controller.
The Elite 2 is a better controller than this.
Yeah, it totally is.
However, even the Elite version of the DualShock is not as good as this because I've had to play about with it. This is a fucking revelation. See the hype? Believe that. Believe the hype. Haptic feedback, even though I said it in the news, like I was leaving a wee teaser there, like it's made by the same company that makes the HD Rumble and the Switch, which is just fucking annoying. It's like a half-assed attempt at this. This is fucking amazing. Like
ridiculous.
It enhances your experience in a way that you wouldn't believe possible by Rumble. This is just genius. There was a part in Call of Duty, and I was trying to explain it to a guy that I worked with. Like we were in lockdown again. I was shutting up the shop, and he was like, "How is it?" And I goes, "The haptic feedback's amazing." He goes, "What's that? Just special Rumble?" And I goes, "No." I says, I was playing Call of Duty and I pulled the trigger halfway to shoot and it gave me resistance and it clicked. I had to click an actual fucking trigger. It felt like I was going boomf, boomf. And the feedback it gave me in the right-hand side was as if like I was getting feedback off the gun. When Miles is on the train at the start menu, you can feel the train pulsating through the controller, not just a rumble. This is not rumble because rumble's been the fucking same since the N64, if you ask me. Yep. It's programmed to happen at specific moments. Different strengths is all that we got evolved. This is different. This is like different sense. This is a different sense. No wonder it's called the sense. It's a sense. It's a sense. It's not. It enhances your gameplay experience. That this is fucking terrible playing games now. I'm like, I don't want to play this game. This just is standard ass Rumble. Like, and I never thought I'd go on a bit Rumble like this. That's incredible. I'll give it one thing. This one, with the rechargeable battery pack, does not need charge as much as this, but this has got a lot more going on. I charge this once a night, same as PS4. Yeah. That's fine. I expected it. Touchpad's okay. The one thing I don't like is the PS button, and I feel the analog sticks, when I'm setting my thumbs on top, they feel a bit smaller. D-pad I'm not a fan of. However, that rumble is just something else. And like, see if you listen to the controller when you're swinging his miles, it goes, whoop, you actually hear the digital. You see if you sit like that, all you hear is the thwip thwip. But if you put it up to your ear and swing, you hear that the digital boop is portrayed by the vibration. It makes a digital fucking boop, like in Amazing Spider-Man, where it goes boop before he fucking swings. It goes boop, boop, boop. Honestly, man, like I am so impressed by this controller. It is mind blowing. It's actually mind blowing. And like I said to D, he goes, "It can't be that good." I goes, if it wasn't for lockdown, I would say come to mine and just shoot a few rounds in Call of Duty and see what I mean. Now, in online, I will never ever use that.
No,
never. Seeing Call of Duty, I don't want to have to pull a fucking trigger. Seeing the campaign mode with my fucking new Pulse headset on, I was like, oh my fucking god, this is so cool. Like, and it's got resistant points, so it stops, and it's kind of like the Elite controller where you've got your 2 seconds like to do fast reload, but it's not, because this is all created by the technology inside. Because if you I tested it out by playing PS4 Spider-Man, PS5 Spider-Man. PS4 Spider-Man, you fully pull it down, fully pull it, pull it. See, in this, it kind of stops it halfway with the vibration, and you can pull it through. But that's nothing compared to what Call of Duty did. Like, Andy, this feels like a physical fucking object as part of my, like, I pull it, it goes like a click. And I'm like, oh my God, that felt like a gun trigger. Like, that's amazing. Like, Astro's Playrooms kind of got it as well. You can feel the patter of him. Like, Tasha was impressed by that because when hold the controller,
it was cool.
Flick him out. You can feel you can feel Miles' electricity in it. Like, I've never been so engaged in a game because of the controller. And it's not off-putting at all. It's a fucking genius thing that's in this that makes you, it's a step forward of interactivity with the experience that's happening on the TV without going VR. Like, legitimately, that's how much this vibration feature is essential for the experience in PS5. It feels fucking next gen. This fucking shut your vibrating ass up. That's what I want. I want an experience in my hands.
I totally agree with
I really liked it.
Yeah, I totally agree with the controller as well. Like, I didn't notice it at first, like with Spider-Man, and then I was like pulling down on the triggers, and I'm like, this feels like there's too much tension in the R and the L buttons here. Really weird. And I'm like, I wonder if like there's an issue with my buttons. And I'm like, okay, let me go back to the home screen. And as soon as I went back to the home screen, it's gone. Like, it just, as soon as you're out of the game, it's not there anymore. And I'm like, oh, that's strange. And then went back into the game, and it's back straight away. So like, it comes back on as soon as you're back in the game, which it was. And once you've kind of realized what it is that's happening, it feels really cool, and it gives you that tension of like the web swinging, which engages you more in the web swinging. And I've enjoyed swinging about the city more in Miles than I think I did in the original Spider-Man.
Will you get it in the remastered version when you play it?
Also, is in the remastered as well?
Yeah, they've added it into the remastered version like Miles. That's what I was saying. So then I fired up the PS4 save, and it doesn't, it's just, see when you push the L2 and R2, it just goes all the way back. There's no resistance, no nothing. It's just standard web. And then I fired on remastered, and it's just like Miles. But like, it's the genius wee touches, like holding it up and you hear the boop, boop.
And I actually really liked the D-pad. I think the D-pad is spot on. The face buttons are fine. And like, I really like the new PlayStation button. Like, I'm glad that they've done away with the circle. I don't know why. It just
the amount of times I've tried to press it and end up muting the mic. Oh, that's the other thing.
I've never done that. I've heard loads of people say
that. There's a fucking microphone in it. So
microphone in it,
I put Andy in a voice chat. Was it features? We haven't done features yet, have we?
We haven't done features, no. But that's kind of UI. Because the Xbox.
Well, we didn't mention that then. Like, so like on this, obviously I was excited and I was like, Andy, join my voice chat. So he joined my voice chat and I was like, I'm sharing. First time we've ever done this. And he showed me a big screen. I went, no, make it the wee box like on the TV. And then Andy goes, not only can I do that, but you can get an entire like window down here so Andy could watch what I was playing, and like he can increase the size of it. And like I just wanted to show Andy the graphics at the time of the game. And he was, to me, that was incredible. And like then I heard Andy and I'm like, I can hear you through the controller. And all I heard back was, I can hear you through mine too. And I'm like, So out the box, without the need for a headset, this is good to go multiplayer.
Yeah.
This controller itself, it's not great quality, but it worked.
It's passable. Like it's actually probably better quality than on the Xbox using a headset, using their party chat system because of all the fucking echo.
Debatable, because that's using a PlayStation branded headset, and I think there's something with that because
it doesn't make a difference, because I get it. Even when I've got a Razer headset as well, and even using that, it is the exact same. Still got the echo.
It's your username then. It's banned for, because I've played with like Fraser, and Fraser's used different headsets.
Maybe it's my cables, my Ethernet cables.
But like anyway, like I just thought that was another cool feature on the UI, is the ability so that I can go, look at this, Andy. Look, I've not seen any of these tips videos that they talked about being there yet. Like, but then again, I hid the ability to look at
spoilers.
stuff.
Yeah, turned off the spoilers basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the controller PS5, I think, wins hands down because it is new and exciting and different, and it's actually doing things that feel cool. And like Xbox is just same old.
Right. So the next one is storage, and it's not really much of a competition.
No, it's not.
So here's the thing, though: both of them are under a terabyte, Andy. So it's all to do with like optimization and stuff like that. I filled this and played a game. Right. I filled it. Not once did I get a message that said you can't keep playing unless you delete shit. It literally would not let me play the game without. So not only is this holding back usable storage, like 200 gig, but it needs storage on top of that to play and save the games.
And one of the other things here is, and I don't know if you've turned this off yet, but see, every time you're on a trophy, it makes a 15-second video. Which
I have to delete them.
Which, yeah, you have to go and delete them. You can turn it off, but by default, every time you get on a trophy right now, it will save a 15-second video, which takes up shitloads of space because obviously it's such high quality.
It's 4K, yeah.
Yeah, so you can turn that off. So I would recommend turning that off.
I might just do that.
And I mean, like, I fucking like go in hard for trophies, and I don't care about that.
Not just onboard storage space, because they're both quite poor out the box, but storage options. This one wins again, like we talked about before.
100%. Yeah.
This
Hands
one.
down.
Day one, they should have had those SSD cards ready to go. Like the SSD memory for inside, it should have had day one. Because these guys not only had it ready day one, but they had the option of use your portable hard drive or plug the thing in. Portable hard drives tend to work in this. Like it didn't, I've not had
3.1.
3.1 will work. 3 point works now and then. But on this, you've got is 665 gig or 664. So like, yeah, the Xbox storage, no contest. So like what have we covered there? So we've covered unboxing experience, went to Series X, setup went to Series X. The UI, there was no score because this one works, but this one's exciting. The speeds, PS5 get that, it's got a faster SSD. The controller, PS5 get that. Storage, back to Xbox. So we're at 3-all just now. The last one that I've got on the list here.
Graphics PS5 one.
I said PS5. Speeds PS5, graphics PS5.
Oh, sorry. I know we had to say that. Cool.
So that's the 3. Unboxing, setup, and storage. Xbox, controller, speeds, and graphics. PlayStation.
Yeah.
So the last one, this might end up 3-all here, right? For one big reason. This is get better day one games. This is get Game Pass.
Yeah.
I can't decide.
One has quality, one has quantity.
And both are just as viable, because this one, day one, you've got, if you want to argue about Xbox exclusives, it's got Gears 5, Gears 4, Gears 3, Gears 2, Gears 1, all look phenomenal. It's got Forza Horizon 4 day one, it's got Sea of Thieves, which looks incredible. So these are all on Game Pass, which are included out the box, because if you set it up brand new, you get a 2-week. Like, so this is the hard part. Halo kind of fucked it because they were putting all their eggs in Halo's basket, right? So yes, there's no exclusives day one. Gears Tactics, technically, if you're talking console only, but this one's got Miles Morales, and it's amazing. But it's also on PS4 if you want to fight that corner. Demon's Souls, it's also on PS3. Astrobot is the only true next-gen game out of both of these consoles. That's insane. Like, every other game is available on another system.
Oh, Spider-Man Remastered, technically.
It's a remaster of an old game, and so is Demon's Souls.
Yeah, it is a remaster. So,
and they've added all the extra content into the old Spider-Man game, like the suits and stuff. So, like, this is the problem. Like, both of them, I think, could have done with an extra year baking games and everything else. But we've got them now. So I'm going to have to call that a draw on games because
I agree. And the thing is with Sony as well, like they are kind of, although we spoke about the Game Pass answer earlier, like they've kind of got that with the PlayStation Plus collection day one. You've got 20 games.
Not an answer for Game Pass.
Well, no, I agree, but there are 20 games there that are high quality games on the system that you can play day one if you wanted.
But Gears Tactics came out the same day this did. You got it day one, but you're not getting Miles Morales on Game Pass or PS Plus collection or anything like that. So that's the big difference. Microsoft are more generous, like you said, with quantity, but Sony work in the quality. That's not to say their games aren't good quality, because Gears 5 multiplayer, oh my God, played it for the first time last night. That is a beautiful thing to see. Yeah. The colours, you've got fucking emulsion in the corner that's glowing green. I've got the New Day with a fucking glowing pink armour. I've got enemies with glowing fucking parts on them. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing looking. So I'm sorry, but you've also got Yakuza Day One in that's not in this. Like, it's on PS4, sure, but it's not. It's on this, and Yakuza is a fucking. That's a sneaky contender, mate. That is a fucking. Honestly,
I think that okay, Yakuza's on that one, but Astro's on PS5, and that kind of ties it all up.
Yakuza's far better than Astro. That doesn't tie anything up.
Well, I haven't played Yakuza yet, so I can't speak to that. But like Astro is like one of the best games I've played in years.
Not for me. It's okay. It's a fucking demo for the controller. I will finish it, but I played it. I'm like, it's all right. It's like a fucking game you expect to play at a booth and go, yeah.
It's so much more than that for me. Like,
for you, perhaps. See, for me, and I've watched further bits of it, it's like fine. Like, it doesn't particularly do anything that makes me go, wow. It just highlights the graphics and the controller features. I'm glad you enjoyed it, but you cannot put Yakuza in the same box as a fucking.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I can't compare them directly because I haven't played Yakuza yet. But
you're talking a 4-hour maximum experience. I've seen it done quicker.
I mean, we've already played it for longer than that, so.
No. To finish it, and Yakuza.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, we've finished that sort of but I want to talk.
Like comparing a Final Fantasy mobile game to fucking Final Fantasy 7.
I do want to talk like some specifics about some of the games, but as far as like
after this,
yeah. So as far as like the game lineups go, I think we're right. It's a tie. Like it depends what you want, and like I want both. Like 100%.
I didn't know how this way would go, but it turns out this generation, me and Andy are in agreement for most things.
Yeah.
For a change, and it's reflected in the score. So the final score is 3-3. Like, somebody asked me tonight, what one's better? Like my mate, and I'm like, what one do you prefer?
100%, yeah.
Where do your friends play? That's how to answer it. Well, no, it's not, because multiplayer games and that are going to take up a lot of it. I don't know, right? See, personally, like there's you could say the Series X because, and you could say the PS5 because. While he asked me, I was talking to you as well, my fucking game crashed. Like, it was stuck at pushing L1, and like I couldn't even go home. I couldn't even hold it down to turn the console off. I pushed the power button and the console wouldn't go off, and I'm like, what the fuck? I had to yank the power cord out my PS5. I was like, oh no, and put it back in, and I had to restart the whole part. I've not had that on the Series X. See, when I said the Series X crashed, what happened was I'd left it on for a few hours, and it wouldn't open up any games because of my old hard drive. Since it did that last week, I have had no issues. That console was rapid and will open anything. I just don't have as many games, but I am not plugging a 3.0 hard drive in either of these, and I would say to everyone listening, do not do it. So if you're worried about space, there's more out the box with this one, and it's easy to add. If you want cool single-player experiences, this one. But here's the thing. If you can afford one of the big boys, PS5 or a Series X, and you've got a PS4 Pro or PS4, I would lean towards this if you don't have a 1X. There's a lot of disclaimers
Ifs and
with all
buts,
ifs
yeah,
and buts.
100%, yeah.
So, and this has come from experience as a guy who's owned all consoles for both systems last generation. Like, if you've got a PS4 Pro, even this is a hard sell at the moment. If you've got a One X, this is an even harder sell because that's a fantastic console. So, at the moment, if you're asking us, what one do I buy though? I want one. What one do you like better? What would your friends play? Like, do you want Spider-Man or do you want Gears? Do you want, like, I don't know. I can't answer it. Game Pass? Do you want Game Pass? Or do you want Demon Souls? It's completely up to the viewer. I can't see in 3-all. This one's better at some things and this one's better at other things.
Yep,
if you want, here's one thing though. If you want a console that feels fucking next gen, if you want a console that works,
yeah, I mean, and just to your point on that, like I had a crash with Miles as well, where I was playing the game and it was one of the optional cache things that pops up. It's like, oh, cache nearby. Do you want to track it? And I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. Push the button, track it, and started following along with it. And then the game just completely froze and then went to a black screen. I was like, oh, okay, that's new. Like, I don't remember that happening on PS4. Every single crash I had on PS4 that I can recall went to an error. No, definitely not. Like, it went to an error screen. Like, the game froze.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Would you like to report the error?
Here's an error screen, report the error, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, so that was super weird when it just went black screen. I was like, oh, fuck. And then, like, I heard the console, like, going off. And I'm like, right, the console's gone off. And I went over, pushed the button to turn it back on, and it wouldn't come back on. And I was like, oh, shit, like, my console's gone. Like, fuck. And then I was like, right, I'm just going to sit on my phone for like 10 minutes and be like, hope that it works.
Not happened.
So, like, yeah, and like, so I just went on Twitter and like scrolled for like 10 minutes and I was like, okay, right, I want to play, I want to get the disc out. This was my first thought, just in case there's a disc issue here. So like I went and turned it back on and it came back on straight away and it like came up with the error screen, like, oh, it was an error, blah, blah, blah. Like, do you want to explain what happens, report the problem? And I did, like, I typed out the message exactly what happens and reported and that. And then the console came back on and it's been fine ever since then. I took the disc out and played, I actually went and played Days Gone after that to try it out because I was like, I don't want to.
And he's frozen. I don't know if I've frozen as well. Let's just check. If I'm still available, then awesome. If I'm still available. Yeah, Andy's frozen. Andy's frozen. Yeah, Andy's frozen. So I have no idea where he is, but yeah, he was just talking about his Days Gone or whatever. So for me anyway, Miles Morales is incredible. Such a good game, and I did try it on PS4 first, and it doesn't look good. And this is strange to me because, as far as I was concerned, this was DLC for Spider-Man. You've heard me saying it all. I love Miles Morales as a character. I really, really like him. I always did. I got the first figure that was released. I got the 3.5 and I got the 6-inch version. And seeing Miles in his own game is absolutely incredible. I hope that after the next Spider-Man game, Spider-Man 2, we get Miles Morales 2. I definitely think Miles is going to be in the next Spider-Man game, but it's definitely going to be Peter-focused. I have no idea where Andy's went. But yeah, Miles Morales, absolutely incredible game. Start to finish, loved every part of it. Not as much filler, no Mary Jane bits, the Miles bits in the PS4 weren't great because he wasn't Spider-Man at that point. But yeah, there was some of these puzzles that really irritated me, like the linking of the electricity cables. That really, really did my head in. And I believe we've got phone Andy joining us now. So yeah, we'll go back to what. So we'll just finish there and we'll move on to what we've been playing because if this is one of these nights, then I don't want it to be cut off constantly. So we're on 3-all, so we can't make a decision for you. I would say at the moment, just buy what one is available at a reasonable price. Just do that. But yeah, I don't know if my speaking is going to be behind Andy hearing it because it was the last time as well. We'll move on to what we've been playing. I've talked about Miles already. So the only other game that I played anyway, Andy's played too, and he didn't allow me to talk about it last week. and I need him to talk about it first to see where he is on it, because as you know, when we play Assassin's Creed games, apart from the last couple, because I didn't buy them day one, we spoil them. So if you don't want to hear anything about Valhalla, tune out now, because I'm going to pass over to Andy, because I know Valhalla is one of the games he's played, and then he can move on to the rest, because once we've roundtabled Valhalla, I've done nothing bar miles, as you can tell, my hours put into that game. I played a bit of NBA, played a bit of Gears of War, but we want to talk about the new shit. So Valhalla, Vikings, Andy, as an Assassin's Creed fan, as a player of all games in the series, what's your opinions, what's your thoughts, where have you got to? Spoilers start now.
So I'm actually not very far through Assassin's Creed so far. I am maybe, like, I'm still in, where is it? I'm still in the snow bit.
Norway.
I've gone back, yeah, Norway. I've gone back to like her home. What's it called? What's the home place called? I can't remember.
Norway.
The home place? No, our village, like the village. I don't know what it's called. But
Norway
anyway,
village.
I've basically just gone back there and met the king. It's pretty much as far as I've got. Norway village with the king in it.
My speech
That's
is
as far
very
as I've
behind.
got.
Like,
But yeah, so
I'm doing
far.
this right now, and Andy's talking about something else.
Wait, hold on.
Hold on.
I have connection back. Hold on. I'll rejoin. I'll rejoin
I'm holding.
on Andy 1.
Right, by Andy 2. So yeah, Andy's going to tell us all about his adventures in Assassin's Creed in just a minute. I really enjoyed the game. I'm knee deep in England. I've took my second pledged place, Gloucestershire. I can't remember what the first one was, but I thought it was really cool what we did there. Meeting the brothers of Sons of Ragnar. It was Ivor and Ubba. That was awesome to me as a fan of Vikings, so I can't wait for that show to come back. Definitely watching the TV show Vikings will enhance your experience of this game a bit. Like, I recommend Black Sails to go along with Black Flag Assassin's Creed. This is made by the same team that made Black Flag, and it really shines. These are the guys that should make it all the time. Yeah, I played a bit of NBA. That game just is so good on next gen. It's not good on last gen, the 2K21. And I played some Gears 5. Absolutely love that game, man. I actually played some games with Andy, but he'll probably tell you all about them. Yeah, we can take that away. So 3-0, who knew? Yeah, I played some games with Andy. Not as many. Or was that last week? Was that the week before? Was that Gears 2? Did we play it again? I think we're playing tonight. Oh, we were meant to play the other night, and I totally forgot because I got lost in Miles Morales. So I have no idea what Andy is. But yeah, Valhalla. I just took... Oh, excuse me. I took back a city that had been taken by the Saxons. Can't remember who it was that had the city, but we've got B Andy back.
I had to come back as this. It's not back yet.
All right, so I'll just finish up what I was saying. So, like I said, I'm in England, and you pledge counties to assist with, and I've just done my second one, but I've got some more missions to do, and I quite like the part where I'm at just now. I'm gonna not ruin the story, not as much story as part, but basically there's a traitor, and it gave me 3 options to go after one of the lieutenants to like raid with them and get to know them to find the traitor. But I decided, because offhandedly she said, or you can explore down here. So I went and explored down there, and then it showed you that there was yellow paint, and that's how the enemies were let into the city. And obviously this is the traitor that's did this. So I investigated this, that you don't need to do. This is totally optional. You might even miss it. You could just go after the 3 lieutenants and find them. I went down, and as I'm following the yellow paint through roads, there's like a farm, and there's a guy moaning about rats, and there's a woman moaning in the field, and I get to the bottom of the lake and I see what's happened, and it's like, okay, the boat came here, the guys came in and infiltrated the city. And then I'm thinking, hold on, I'm going to speak to the 2 people I passed, and lo and behold, when I speak to them, they've got information about what they seen if I help them. So that's where I paused it before the show, because I'm like, this part's totally optional and just totally enhances my experience, and just felt natural for me to do, because it's like, you can go with my 3 lieutenants, you can explore the city, even take a look at my tunnels that I built to see how they get in. So I went, okay, I'll go after the guy. I went, actually, hold on, I want to go in this, I want to go down here first. and I went down, and I didn't get any trophies or ticks or progress in the mission, but it just enhanced my knowledge of that mission. And speaking to these two people on the road there, because all the yellow paint's been spilt all down this road, I'm like, I'm going to help these guys and get more information before I go and work with the lieutenants. That is fucking awesome. And they kind of hinted on that in Origins and Odyssey a wee bit with like sort of naturally flowing quests, and they kind of worked. But this one, it genuinely feels like the choice is mine. Like there's even conversational options that kind of affect what's being said, and even like the flow of missions, I assume, of who you're partnering up with and where you're going first and things like that. And I'm really genuinely finding a sense of involvement in this game that I didn't have before. So I just love that was a wee offhand, or you can explore the cellar if you want the tunnels. And I thought, do you know what, I'm just going to go after the lieutenants, and going back, it enriched my experience. So this is really cool to see this. Like we said before, the graphics, so sometimes you get wee hiccups. Like I went into a guy's house and somebody said it was a beast. I want to fight something, the Faceless. And I thought I was going to have to fight someone. And I went in and it was just one of those rap battles. But the guy was absolutely fucking terrible. And then he realised that I was good, or I'd hit the right things. And he ran away, and I'm like, okay. So that was just one of the mysteries of, it was Gloucester I was in. So if you're in Gloucester, it's just a wee small cottage and there's some folk outside. And do you want is it Freddy the Fearless or Freddy the Faceless or something? But anyway, it's not. It's just a guy that's shit at the flighting, it's called. But yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying the game. I've loved every minute of it. It's a shame that this wasn't the second one. You can tell it's done by the Black Flag team because it oozes quality. And these are the guys. Stop it being yearly, Ubisoft. Give it to these guys and use the other team to finish like Skull and Bones or something. The Black Flag team and the Valhalla team are the team that should be working on Assassin's Creed because they seem to fucking understand it. They understand the lore. They understand what's fun. And they've even incorporated the new Witcher system, as I call it, that you started in Origins perfectly, so it still feels like an Assassin's Creed game, whereas the last two games didn't really feel Assassin's Creedy to me. One, you couldn't assassinate in the last one. You weren't even an assassin. And in the first one, you didn't even have blades or anything really because you were the first assassins. So this game, though, is spot on. Absolutely brilliant the way they've incorporated the assassins. I'm not going to get into that because you're not there yet, I don't think. But the way that they've incorporated...
I just met two of them just arrived on a boat.
But I love that. It's like, here's the assassins.
Yeah.
They're going to hang about with you. Their appearance is justified. Do you know what I mean? Rather than, oh, now side quest, you've met the assassins. This flowed all into the story and it didn't feel out of place. It felt like your objectives aligned. And that's kind of the way that it goes down the way. Like, you don't even have to bother with assassins. You can Viking the whole game. You have to build the assassin building to go and do the assassin stuff, but it makes you want to. But this is the first game since they kind of took you out of the role of a full-on assassin that I've truly felt that it's still an Assassin's Creed game because, yeah, I can find out more about what they're up to, but I'm still a fucking Viking. So the balance is perfect in this game. Sad that the graphics are held back. But yeah, anyway, that's all I'm going to say about Valhalla, and I'll pass you over to you for your experiences so that we don't need to talk and you're going to hear this 2 minutes after I've said it.
So for me, I've not been wowed by the game, to be honest. Like, I think Miles and Astrobot have definitely spoiled me, like with the PS5 graphics and like how cool they implement the controller and shit like that. And Assassin's Creed does nothing really with that at all. Like, it looks nice, sure, but like it looks like a PS4 game. Like, I don't know that I would notice that much difference between PS4 Pro and PS5 versions, to be honest. I'm sure there is a slight difference, but I don't know that I would notice it. On the on the other games, like 100%, I'm blown away by them. Like Miles and Astrobot, I'm like, oh, this is next gen. And Assassin's Creed doesn't feel like that to me. Like, they haven't done really anything to implement the controller or anything like that, and they haven't done anything particularly special with the graphics. Fair enough, it loads a bit faster than what I expected with them on PS4, and certainly than what Odyssey did like ages ago. But yeah, like being a Viking, cool. I like that so far. However, I kind of like I picked the female version of Ivor. I'm kind of regretting that because and it's nothing to do with the fact that like she's female or anything like that. I just don't like the voice that is being used for the character at all. I don't think the character model's particularly great, especially like in the beginning of the game. It feels very, very plain, and I'm sure that comes with like getting customization options and stuff like that. And the guy probably looks just as plain as well. but there's a character that you meet right at the beginning of the game. I forget her name. But she looks kind of like Cassandra. I'm like, oh, why could I not have been like playing as this woman? Because like she's got a cool voice, like it seems like an interesting character, and why couldn't that be her instead? And I would have liked that. That would have been cool. But yeah, I haven't found a way to switch that as of yet, because it gives you the choice at the beginning of the game if you want to play as the guy, the girl, or kind of either or. Like it can swap you back and forth between the two for reasons that it doesn't explain. I'm not sure what that is. But what I would say is that I think that with this game, I'm gonna probably switch to playing as the guy for the most part, because I don't like the voice actress for the female Ivor. And there's none like it's nothing against the performance. Like I'm just not a big fan of the voice performance. Not that it's bad or the lines are bad or anything, but I think that the guy sounds better in the role for this game, and that's neither here nor there. It's not going to affect my gameplay very much, to be honest, but I will switch and see how I get on with it. But yeah, combat wise, it's fine. It's the same as Odyssey basically, and you get all your different weapons and stuff. But as I'm still very early in the game, I haven't come across too many of the different like weapon types and upgrading the skill trees and like all that sort of stuff. Upgrading the skill tree though did remind me of the sphere grid from Final Fantasy X, which I do like. But yeah, combat wise and stuff, absolutely fine so far. Sailing the ship is cool. I like it. I haven't done what Ali was talking about last week and get the stories and unlock all that sort of stuff yet. So I haven't got to that. And like I think I need to, as I'm still just in the beginning of the game, I need to get to the England part of the game first, because this is still the intro essentially. I need to get to that part of the game before I think I'll really connect with it. And Miles just kind of sucked me away from that a little bit, because it's just so easy to get into and fun and fluid to play. So that's probably what I'm going to be hitting on first before I go back to Assassin's Creed too much again. Having said that, like I've got 2 days off now, so I've got and I didn't. Well, I was off the day I got the PS5, and I've been working every day since then, so I haven't really had all that much time to play. So it's more going to be tomorrow and the day after. I'm going to get a good chunk of time to actually sit and play this console and the Series X more as well. So, but yeah, Assassin's Creed is cool so far, and I like that they have integrated parts of the current day stuff in there already, even though it was only like voice stuff really. But from what I've heard from Ali, it does put you back into like outside of the Animus shortly. So I look forward to getting to that, because that's really what drives me through this game, just pushing on that modern day story. Like I've always like really thought that was the whole concept of like this is the reason why we're going into the Animus and going through these old things, is to find out stuff that's going to help us in the present day. Like that's always been my driving force for playing Assassin's Creed games, like how cool a kind of story concept that is. But yeah, Valhalla's cool so far, and I'm looking forward to getting to play more of it. Miles has dragged me away. Sounds like I was back. He's back.
I was back a minute ago. You just my voice is taking a while to get to you. Right, so did you talk about Valhalla then? Yeah. So I wanted to talk about one thing before you moved on for the rest of yours. So I made an angry drunk purchase this week when I was in the bath, and when I went to cancel it, it said it was out for delivery and it didn't show up. But I'm happy with this purchase. So what I've got here is the Razer Kishi Xbox version. So you can see it's got the Xbox logo here. It's got the Xbox buttons here.
It's got PS5 on it.
It's got L3, R3, and it's got trigger. Not just L1 and L2 or LB. It's actually got triggers.
Okay.
So this is plugged into my screen, but I've set it up for Xbox on landscape mode.
Yeah.
So it sits about that in my hand, and I think it's more optimized because you can see the slight gaps. Hold on, I'll turn the screen off. You can see the slight gap here, right? This is obviously designed for the plus size phones, fuck off. It's designed for the plus-sized
Yeah.
phone, and this is just a standard S9. So there's like a slight gap. It doesn't fit perfect, but it fits and it works. The reason that this is cool for me is sometimes it's not convenient to have my tablet, right? Gaming for me during the day is out of the question now. Almost out of the question, because if I bring my tablet out, Lexi wants the tablet. If I change the TV, the wife's complaining, the kid's complaining, someone's complaining, right? So I can't game really. And sometimes there's an opportunity to game. If the wife's doing body shop stuff, Leo's sleeping and Lexi's watching things or drawing, it's like, okay, I want a game. I don't have a telly in my room anymore. I don't have a spare room like I used to, and through here's a playroom. See that there, Andy? I thought this is going to give me cramps. I'm going to regret this. I played an entire Horde mode, and you know that's up to like 25 levels. Completed it. Didn't even notice that, I was involved using Game Pass. I've tried it with Remote Play as well. Works okay. I'd say Remote Play is a bit laggier, but see Game Pass, that is fucking spot on to stream the games with the cloud. Like, don't get me wrong, if you get a dip in the net, as you sometimes do, even with fast internet, you do see a bit of lag, right? But it's totally fucking playable. And I've got a portable fucking Xbox with, like, that's the wife's old S9 phone. So the only thing that's on this phone is the Xbox app, Game Pass, and the PlayStation app. I haven't tried the PlayStation Remote Play on it, but I'm assuming it will work. But, I mean, that is basically Switch size. Like, I can sit here absolutely fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, it's purple because it was my wife's phone, but so what happens, you've probably seen these before, is this clicks in and it goes compact, basically folds up like this, and then when you open the back of it, it expands like this. See, it kind of clicks in and it becomes more or less an Xbox controller. That to me is cool, because the biggest problem with Andy's away. The biggest problem with gaming in your phone, and Andy will testify to this, is that touch controls aren't great. But see, these are absolutely spot on. There is a cheaper version that doesn't have the Xbox button here that looks pretty much the same. But these aren't cheap either. These are like £99. The cheaper version, $79. The only difference is this is get your Xbox branding and it comes with 2 weeks Game Pass Ultimate. Like, see, for people that don't have an Xbox, this is your way in. This is how you get in. Really cool. And like I said, like, all the buttons feel great. Triggers aren't obviously as good as a controller, but it's honestly passable, man. Right, you could honestly use this. So Razer Kishi, they're called. Check them out on Black Friday. They might go down a bit. There is one for iOS as well. Although you can only use Remote Play at the moment on iOS for Xbox and PlayStation. Not that PlayStation has a Game Pass service, but yeah, you can buy one for iOS and it's the same price. It's £99. There are controller clip options, but see, for me, that is probably one of the better options to do it because it's light. It feels like a Switch instead of having this top heavy attached to, like, pardon me, the grip. I've seen them before. The hinges go and it just folds forward, and you don't want that happening with your phone. So those are the better option. The only downside to it is the price. Like, they obviously work relatively lag free because it is not wireless. It's plugged actually into your it's plugged into the USB-C port of the phone. So it needs to be a USB-C phone. If you've got a spare one lying about, that'd be perfect. And like I said, the S9 fits in it, but it would probably be better with an S9 Plus, S10 Plus, S20 Plus. And these were sent out to social media influencers with the, I believe it was the S20 Plus that was in it. And it seems like it would be a much better fit. However, the only issue, well, you can still use it as your phone. You would need to hold it like this, but the only issue is if you're not like me and you don't have a spare mobile phone, then you're going to have to, like, put up with this as, like, this is going to basically be your phone's going to be it's not exactly Andy's fell over. So this is basically going to be like
your phone stuck in here. So I'm only using, like, this is now my portable Xbox. That's what this is getting used as. Other cool feature on it as well is that the USB-C port, because it's actually where the right-hand side plugs in, you might be thinking to yourself, like, how do you charge this, like, when I'm playing? And it's not a problem because there's actually a USB-C port here on the right-hand side, so you could actually plug it in and play as you charge. So there's no vibration in it. And like I said, Andy, the only downside about this is the price point. But for me, this is the better option because it generally feels like I've got my Hori split pad on my Switch. That's kind of the similar feeling, but obviously with more Xbox feeling when the buttons feel like an Xbox One pad. And obviously it's got the Xbox brand in here, but the price point is a bit steep for what it is. But for me, I'm keeping it. I'm going to keep this as a portable Xbox going forward because the controller stands, the ones that I looked at, the hinges can go on them, like they're top heavy, so it might get sore in extended play sessions. Whereas that's just perfect. Like honestly,
how much was that thing?
99. You can get them for. That's the one with the two. That's the one with 2 weeks Ultimate Game Pass included. You can get one that's 79 that is not the Xbox branded one. And like I said, there is one for iOS as well. So if you're an iPhone only user, you can get it. But there's no Cloud Play this year. I think it's next year. Cloud Play is coming on Game Pass. So at the moment, all you can use it for is, well, you can use it for other mobile games as well. It doesn't have to be for Xbox, but that's what I bought it for, was for gaming. And the way that I thought, can I play a long-standing game here? And the answer is yes. Like I didn't want to play just a mobile style experience game. I didn't want to play like a 2-minute game and test it. I wanted to play a game that I'd sink time into, and Gears is perfect because that's using most of your buttons and it's all responsive. The other good thing is down here, what you see is the two vents. So here and here is actually where they redirect the speaker sound, which is at the bottom of most mobiles, so it actually comes out at you. Okay. So even though this is covering your speaker, it's not muffled. So the whole thing's really well designed. And it is cool because like you can't see it because of my green screen, but that is green with an Xbox logo in the middle. So yeah, I can recommend them if you've got the readies. That's what I would say. I would go for one of them over a controller stand because you've got a smartphone sitting like this on top of an already heavy controller. It's top heavy. Like every review I've seen said they're good, but they're top heavy. And that's the 8-bit Do and the other one that I've seen, the PowerA clamp. Also, like I said before, hinges over time deteriorate. So the thing holding that up will get loose and eventually that'll be a loose bit in the middle. Whereas that's going to fit most phones for a while with a USB-C or a lightning port if you bought the Apple one. But I'm choosing not to, and I've got a portable Xbox now, which is actually awesome. Like I can stream my Xbox and I wouldn't advise remote play outside the house. I did try it at work for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It was okay, but it was choppier than the seas at the edge of the map in Sea of Thieves. Remote play generally only works in the same house, is what my experience is, and that's using fast internet in both places, like work internet and that's my home fiber working in tandem. It's not great over here yet. 5G might be a game changer, but I don't think it is, to be honest. The best way to play this is Game Pass streaming on the go. That'll work absolutely fine if you're in a strong Wi-Fi, or remote play if you're in the same house and you just don't have access to a TV like I no longer have in here, which I used to. So Razor Kishi was all I wanted to talk about. So you talked about Valhalla before you left, and I want to hear more about your Game of the Year Astrobot and Miles and anything else you haven't spoken about before we head off.
So yeah, I want to talk about Astro. I mean, it's not my Game of the Year, right? But like, it gave me.
It's not a game.
No, it is a game. It gave me a gaming experience that was really fucking cool, to be honest. Like, so when I first put it up on PS5, like I knew the first game that I would play is Assassin's Creed. But by the time I'd got everything installed and all set up and good to go,
you're quiet.
I can go. And by the time I got everything all set up and good to go, like the woman was home from school already, so she was like, "Oh, I want to play Astro." I'm like, "No, we have to play Assassin's Creed first, just to get the first trophy." So that like the first thing we do on the PS5 is like play Assassin's Creed. She's like, "Why?" I was like, "Well, because the first game I played on PS3 was Assassin's Creed 1, and PS4 was Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and then PS5 Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Like, Assassin's Creed is the first game that you play, and like it should be the game to show off the new system. Because I found that 100% with the PS3. I found that Assassin's Creed 1 on PS3 fucking
Yep.
blew me away. Like, it was incredible. Assassin's Creed Black Flag on PS4 blew me away. Like, the water and shit like that in that game, I was blown away. Like, obviously I didn't play it on PS3, so I didn't have anything to compare it to. I know you did, but Valhalla on PS5, I was like, okay, this is fine. Like, it didn't blow me away.
It's very comparable to
The second
Odyssey.
first trophy, I was,
Like, it looks like Odyssey.
like, I don't think it looked any better.
I sent you a screenshot the other day of Odyssey, actually.
Yeah, and it looks the same. Like, and Odyssey was a really good looking game, so there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, so like as soon as I got the first trophy and was able to save, I'm like, cool, save, go out, cool, let's play Astrobot, and started playing Astrobot. And I didn't realize what Astrobot was because I thought it was just a tech demo for the controller, essentially a simple platformer that you could play through. So like, I let Bethany like play it at first, but that's not what Astro is, right? Astro does give you like a full tour of the controller and the system and all its features and stuff. But Astro's Playroom is a love letter to PlayStation. That is exactly what it is. Like, there are so many like nods and like little secrets and Easter eggs to just the PlayStation brand in general. Every single thing that's packed this game is like fucking filled with PlayStation. Like one of the levels where you run about on a beach and there's like a bunch of little bots and they're just going around in the water. They've got like little floats, like sort of circular things they're using. They're made of fucking UMDs. There's one of the levels where there's like a giant big yellow duck.
Yeah, I found a PS2 HDD.
Super. Yeah, the duck's a reference to Super Rubber Dub on the PS3, and like there are so many. Like, I didn't notice the bots at first. The actual bots were references, because every time you come across like a bot that's got a camera and that's pointing you towards like a reference for
Yeah, like I found Crash.
So there's hundreds of them. Yeah.
Eventually.
Like, so you've seen Crash on that, like, and I seen Devil May Cry and like Final Fantasy, and like there's ones for Last Guardian and like all sorts of weird things. I really love just running about
Frozen,
finding that stuff. Like,
your face is not moving.
I saw it. Like, the thing is, like Bethany was like coming across and she's like, "Oh, Dad, here's a reference. What does it mean?" And like I was explaining like the reference.
And it just said
like,
PlayStation. PlayStation. It means PlayStation.
No, it doesn't. No. But I was telling her like what game it's from and that, and like explaining to her like how the old systems and that worked, and like as an experience, like for us to go through it together, because she obviously we had a PS3 when she was like really young, but she's grown up with a PS4. And
well, like we said, the age she's at just now is the same age we were at when the PlayStation 1 came out. So in effect, she's experiencing this like we experienced the PS1. So when we looked at the PS1, we were like, holy fuck. And it was the first time we were at an age, like after the Mega Drive and such, that we were like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So Bethany's now the same age we were when the PS1 came out. So for her, this is her PS1. Yeah. That's insane. This is the one that will make it or break it for our consoles going forward.
Yeah, totally. And I would say that I think she likes the PlayStation more than the Xbox, to be honest.
Kids will, yeah.
Yeah.
And
like playing Astro, like, so Astro, like, it's basically like there's 4 levels and a hub world, right? So, and each level is dedicated to one of the systems. So you have a PS1, a PS2, a PS3, and a PS4 level. And and that's not how they sell you the levels. They tell you that the level is like, this level's about the hard drive, but it's not really. It's about the PS3, or like this level's about the graphics card.
I take it the hard drive level is really short.
No, it's not. But yeah, so like in those you get the collectibles, so you pick up like the consoles and you pick up like they call them artifacts. You pick up the consoles and you pick up like the UMDs and like the
PS2 hard drives
and stuff like that. I haven't seen a PS2 hard drive yet, but like we got a load. So we got all the consoles. I think we've got all the controls now. We're missing a Vita.
There's that game where you pull the arm down and you like
the gacha. Yeah, we've done all the gachas. They're all done. We finished those already. And because that's cool. You like calling the level.
Do you know what's cool in the hub world in the middle where the dome is? Yeah. And you jump up, and that wee thing like blinks and stuff like in tandem with you. And, like, that's really cool.
You can make it do other stuff as well. Like, so see the bots that are in that hub world.
Yeah.
If you shoot them with something, they'll follow you and they'll sort of congregate on you. So if you shoot all them and then get them to come over to you, and then if you go and stand on top of that bit and you annoy that robot thing that's in there, then he'll like sort of fire up and he'll make all the bots go and get them a big fight and they'll jump. It's fucking hilarious.
And you
but yeah,
flip
so
the
like I
touchpad
say,
for
it's a
it to
love letter. Yeah. So like I say, it's a love letter to PlayStation, to all things PlayStation. And there's one thing that would have made this better, and I think this is what they originally intended.
If it was a full game.
No, and I think this was always intended to be like this long with these many collectibles and that, and that's fine. And just a wee showpiece for it. But I think that what they intended to do this game, because of how steeped in PlayStation nostalgia it is, I believe that this would have been the way that they unlocked the backwards compatibility in the system. I think this is what they planned.
Oh, and when you finish PS1, you unlock PS1 backwards compatibility. Yeah.
Because how amazing would that be? You can now go and play the PlayStation 1 games.
That would be amazing.
Yep.
And you're probably right. That's what that was intended to do, like unlock like the different parts of it. Because they did say that we didn't have time. That's what their answer was. It's not.
Yes, they did say like no, they didn't explicitly say, but they did say at one stage of patents and stuff like that for it that like backwards compatible stuff was coming, and they kind of backtracked on that and said it's only PS4, and you know we know how that's panned out now. But this game, the way it has PS1 and 2 and 3 and 4 all like integrated in there equally, and it goes through and it gives you like literally a love letter to every single one of them. It's so cool, and the way it unlocks the system at the end, it's like a big thing. Like, okay, you complete the level. Here's the console, and it lets you like have a good look at the console and that. And like, I'm sure that at one stage, this was planned to be the reveal where it's like, okay, now you can play the PS1 game, and now you can play the PS2 game.
I think you're right.
And I think that would have been coolest. But like, okay, the stuff is in there. Do you want to play through that? Like, they could give you it as an option. Like,
and I still,
like,
fuck this speaking thing, man.
Or you can play through this and get it that way.
Like, honestly, like, sorry, it's like because obviously you're getting a delay from my speech, but like, I definitely think that they said that they didn't have time. They didn't say it wasn't happening. They said that lockdown delayed everything. So I definitely think that that's the reason the UI is so buggy. I definitely think that's the reason we don't have backwards compatibility. And I 100% think that you are right, that they were not going to tell us anything about backwards compatibility, and they were going to tie it to this. So when you finished the level, it'd go ping, PS1, now you can play it. Maybe not PS2, but PS3 and PS4, definitely. I think that's what was going to happen.
Yeah, I think so. And it may not have been through disc games, or maybe it was through disc
I think
games.
it was.
You can now play PS1 games on your system.
Yep.
That would have been so cool. Like, you've unlocked PS1, go grab a PS1 game, chuck it in, you can play it.
Yep.
Like, what? Like, that's like mind blowing, and that makes this game like way better if they'd done that. But I still really enjoyed playing through it, and like it was such a cool experience for me to like live through like the retroness of it and explain these like weird things to Bethany, like where you would get like a multi-tap for like a PS1, and she's like, Dad, what the hell is this? And I'm like, oh, so you used to have to plug this thing into a controller port, and then you could plug more controllers into it. And like, what was the other one? It's like a microphone for a PSP. So why did it not have a microphone? Like, because obviously the Switch, like the Switch on that just has like, no, in fact, it doesn't. Switch doesn't have a microphone. But like phones and stuff nowadays, you just expect them to come built in with a microphone. But obviously in the PSP, you had to buy this fucking stupid attachment. It was a microphone. You had to buy a different one that was a camera to stick it on the top. Just like weird things like that, and explaining that to her. And obviously I know about all these things from my work. Like, I come across these things now and again, and it was a cool like retro nostalgia trip for me to go through it and like talking her through it. And she was actually able to play through most of the levels, no issue. And then there were a couple of bits that got too hard for her. She would well, there's no internet, so she would pass it over to me when it got too hard, and I was able to like obviously complete the level because they're not really that hard. But yeah, I think we played it for like 8 hours altogether so far, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. And like, she's gone back and played it like when I've been at work and stuff, and I'm like, why are you playing this? I want to play it. But yeah, it's just really cool. And like, graphically looked amazing. The platform wise, really good fun. Like, it's maybe not quite as good as Mario Odyssey, but it's not a million miles off it. And for free, like,
That's
shit.
bullshit.
Great.
It's nowhere near
It's
Mario Odyssey. That is complete utter lies. It's nothing like
not
Mario
at all.
Odyssey.
It's
It's
not.
not even on the same fucking page. This is a controller demo that was potentially going to be used as a unlocking system for backwards compatibility. It's a fucking 4-hour game. You can't compare that to Mario Odyssey, which was incredible. Not a fucking chance. The platformer is a million miles away from it. The platforming is bollocks in it as well. You're jumping platform to platform. The depth perception is completely off because of the shitty camera angles. It's fine for a fucking demo that's going to get deleted off my console because it's 4 gigabytes, but it is not Mario Odyssey. I'm not taking that, sir.
To me it is because
But it's
so much more
wrong.
nostalgia for
You're allowed an
PlayStation
opinion,
Mario.
but that one's wrong.
Mario has all that nostalgia, right? Like Mario Odyssey's got tons of nostalgia built into it.
Never mind nostalgia. I'm talking about the mechanics of platforming. It's not. This is an experience. This is a fucking wee mini. This is a fart in the wind. That's how significant it is.
Great. Do you know what it is? Like this game to me
It's a demo
is
for a
better
controller.
than Wii Sports. Better than Wii Sports,
That's a lie.
which was also a demo for a controller.
We bowl it.
It
You
was a
will
demo
not
for
play
a
this.
controller.
You will not play this for the entire lifespan of the console. Wii Sports, I can guarantee you were playing the last week you had a Wii. Guarantee it. Wii bowling.
So literally, like I think, like obviously pandemic and stuff like that, people can't come around and play it. But if I was having people around to my house and they were like, "Oh, you've got PS5, like cool, can I try it?" Yes, play Astro. There you go. I would give them Astro. Like 100%.
It's not as good as Wii Sports.
I think it's. But yeah, Astro's cool. I really like it. We're probably going to end up finishing it next week or so. Really been enjoying it. I also did play Miles Morales some more, which I've liked enough to want to go and buy the Spider-Man remaster now. So, and I think what you've said about it so far is totally accurate. It's great fun, and to me, like the combat feels more fluid than Spider-Man for some reason.
Do you know this part of it's because of Miles' fighting style, and I'm not just saying that. It's not just the graphical updates. Miles isn't as light and aerobatic as Peter. Miles is more visceral, if you've not noticed, and like his swings are more clunky. They're not as smooth, and Peter's more like an acrobat, and his fighting reflects that. Miles is just kind of use what he's got, and like that's the biggest trick that this game pulled off. Like they copy pasted Spider-Man, but they've changed the moveset enough of Peter Parker that I don't feel like I'm playing as Peter Parker, which I thought was going to happen. Like every part I'm swinging through the city as Miles does not feel like it did in the PS4 Spider-Man or the remastered one. Yep. Every time that I'm fighting, I don't feel like Peter Parker fighting. It feels like a whole new character. And see, for them to do that, that was amazing for me. Like, because my biggest worry, like I said, was he's going to feel like it. As you progress, like more so than Peter, because Peter's fully fledged, right? Miles, the upgrades in Miles, you feel them more. Like you feel him getting better. So you're living his journey with him in this game via the way that the mechanics are opened up to you. So when you can fight better, it feels like he deserves to fight better. It feels like now's the right time. It doesn't feel like you've just unlocked another gadget like in Spider-Man. I'm not pooping Spider-Man PS4, but it felt more natural in this game for me all the way through that. By the end of the game, when you're swinging through and you feel badass, you still don't feel like Peter. You feel like you've earned it. You feel like you've got to that stage with Miles, you've lived through the journey. And even like things like, I swapped one of the costumes on, which was the end costume, which is one of the latest comics with Miles, where it's like Miles at the end of his days. The swinging in that suit is different from it is in the normal suit. Like, he feels like a Spider-Man that's at the end of his days. Like, Miles kind of like flails and all this and everything. See that? He kind of does swing more like Peter, but still not the same as Peter. So he feels more like a proficient Spider-Man because that is Miles just before he... Sorry, it's called The End. He dies in that comic, right? So this feels like that Miles. The only thing that annoys me is he had a beer belly in the end comic, and he doesn't have a beer belly in this. Some of the suits are made for this game. Like my favorite ones by the end were the Spider-Verse one, obviously, the animated one, even though it doesn't quite sit with the universe, and the classic one. Those are my three favorite Miles suits. My issue is that the classic suit makes Miles feel giant, like he feels like he's not 17.
he should be slightly shorter. Maybe not as gangly as the Spider-Verse, like me and you talked about, but Miles should not feel like a big man. Like, and in this game, he feels giant. Like, so make him slightly smaller. That would have been my preference. I know they can't exactly make him a child because then you get all the groups going, oh, it's a child Spider-Man, blah, blah, even though Miles is a child Spider-Man, as was fucking Peter because he was 16. But in this game, Miles' story, even though it's set in the same city, a neighborhood over from Peter, is vastly different. The other trick this game pulls is, and it's the same as Far Cry New Dawn, Far Cry New Dawn, Far Cry Primal. They're the same maps as another game, but see, because your starting area is completely different and more of your time's away from the main area, it feels completely different because I'm in areas that I wasn't with Peter. When Peter, like in Peter, you're more in Queens because that's where Peter's from, so you're down another side of the map. With Miles, you're up the top in Harlem, and if you remember PS4 Spider-Man, you weren't up the top all that much, but in this game you're at the top going down, and see that simple swap of where you start in the map, where your missions are, changing up the enemy types. You're fine with the city being the same. This feels like a whole new game. This definitely doesn't feel like the DLC that I made it out to be, and I truly hope that the Miles will be in Spider-Man 2 in some way or form, right? But I really hope they do a Miles Morales 2. I really don't want this to be where they stop with this, because Miles' story branched in its own way to a point where, Peter went on holiday. One, I don't believe that Peter would be allowed by his mummy to go on holiday because he looks about 12. But two, that's just an excuse to get rid of Peter, right? But Miles' own story would be able to survive in this city with Peter. And I kind of hope that in the next one, we see Peter doing his own Spider-Man thing and Miles doing his own Spider-Man thing, using the power of the next-gen consoles. Because obviously this has been made to work on both. And it didn't look great in PS4. I'm being honest with you. Like, everything looked horrible on it. Like, I even showed Tash, and she was watching tonight, and I swapped between fidelity and performance. Now, performance is getting rid of all the nice touches, but it's 4K 60 FPS. Great, but the buildings don't look as detailed, the light's not as nice. Talked about it before, but honestly, it's a fucking joy to play as Miles Morales. I really, really would like to see Miles more than I want to see Peter now at this stage, but that's because I enjoy Miles more, because even though people my age, certain people that are fans of Spider-Man, a lot of them didn't like him when he came out. They're like, not my Spider-Man. Miles Morales is our Spider-Man because Miles Morales came out during our lifetime. Peter Parker was created in the 60s. We weren't alive. Yeah. He's 20 years older than us. So even though the kids are latching on now, like we see her, she was around, like obviously before lockdown and stuff. She was talking about Miles and stuff, and I went, do you remember your Uncle Ali went to him when you were like, she went, yeah. And I went, well, I was on top of that before all you kids latched onto him as an LGBT figure or whatever, because that's what he's seen as now. So that's fine with me because Miles was always that. And then there's these people coming out going, Miles never had the Venom shock in the comics. He fucking did. He had the Venom shock and he had the camouflage in the comics. These are not new things. It's just that you're new to Miles. Like I was saying earlier in the show before you were, I've got the first ever Miles Morales figure released, probably not worth a lot, but it's a 3.75 inch of him, and it's a variant of Peter Parker. He wasn't a loved character. I've got issues with Spider-Man up the stairs, as you know, that I've now found out are worth money, but I don't really want to sell them, even though I've got two of them, because these are special to me, because Miles was discovering a new Spider-Man that didn't feel forced. He wasn't a clone for the first time. He wasn't like an imposter. He wasn't just Peter Parker from another universe. He was a brand new kid living similar experiences to Peter Parker, but trying to forge his way in the current day. I mean, Peter Parker's been forced into the current day with his stories, but they keep bringing him back. They keep having these events where Peter just goes round in a loop, like he gets Mary Jane, she dies, or like he ends up doing something else or pissing her off, and then he goes back and he starts from the beginning again. Whereas Miles' story from the past, he came out, what, maybe 10 years ago? No, but 7, was it 2009? So 11 years ago. 11 years ago, Miles Morales debuted. And I know that's only 11 years, but Miles' story seems to flow. And I like that. I like that they've took that on. And I'm the biggest Peter Parker Spider-Man fan that I know in this house. I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I love him. And he was the first thing that I read in comics, apart from the Beano. But like, Peter Parker now needs to take a back step, right? And the Ultimate Comics is what got me used to this idea, because I love the Ultimate Comics, as you know. I got every one of them. I fucking got the entire Spider-Man run upstairs physical. So Peter Parker died in that. Peter Parker was gone and everyone went nuts. Who's going to be Spider-Man? And then it turns out it was the kid that was in Ultimate Fallout 4. He's now Miles Morales. He's going to be Spider-Man. Folk went crazy. So what to do? Keep Peter at the age he's at. Freeze him in time again. Make him the mentor. Make him what Captain America was Miles Morales' mentor in the Ultimate Universe. That's who like showed him. And like obviously in the movies it's Iron Man. So the comics need to do what this game's done. Peter needs to be his mentor. It makes sense. Yeah. Make him take a back step now. He can still do Spider-Man-y things and have his own thing, but Miles is where the future is. Like, you've got to realise these kids today don't want to read about average Joe white boy that get bullied, because white guys, like in America especially, I'm not saying they don't get bullied, but they're the ones causing the fucking problems. They want to see someone they can relate to. Like Miles Morales' dad's black and his mum's Spanish. He's a perfect mix of what the youth of today relate with. And for me, he's an all-round more acceptable Spider-Man than just whitey white boy that's clever. Like, Miles Morales isn't a genius. He's just trying to do what he can. He's not stupid, but he's not the fucking genius. In the Spider-Verse, he's in the Brooklyn's Visions Academy and he's blah, blah, blah. But in the comics, he doesn't pass all his tests. He doesn't get that good of grades all the time. Peter Parker was a fucking genius from day one. So
that's not true in the comics, because Peter Parker, and when they invented him back in the 60s, like they designed him to be like just an average guy that people could relate to with like his normal problems.
He still went to the science fairs and stuff.
He did, but like he's moved way from that. Like now
he's now up to Tony Stark almost levels of genius.
Yeah, he's basically like a super scientist guy.
Do you know what I mean? At this point, what we need is the new generation of Marvel, and I think they've been chipping away at that as this next generation start reading comics, and you've probably noticed it as well. Like, Kamala's getting more screen time. She's the main character in the fucking Avengers and Miles' girlfriend. So that's a perfect combination. I would love Kamala to show up in the next Miles game.
Yeah.
I think it was brilliant. There's some references to other ones in this, like, I won't spoil them all or how they appear, but Dazzler's reference in this, she's kind of new as well. Like,
yeah. Dazzler's not new. Dazzler's been around for years. She was in the X-Men, yeah, of course she was. But she was kind of a nobody character back then. It wasn't really, and now she's been incorporated into this kind of new group, if you know what I mean. I have always liked Dazzler.
Yeah, but you like the shit characters, like, but but like anyway, you know what I'm saying? It's time for the old guys in Marvel to take a step back. The first good step of this was Miles Morales. The second was obviously Captain America stepping down. These characters, it's time for them to retire, die, or take a backseat role. That's my opinion. Like, even in Iron Man, when they brought the girl in, now it's the time. Now it's the time for the girl. And I know there's a group of comic fans that go, "Oh, it's blasphemy, it's blasphemy." It's not. These comics are now not really for you. These comics are for the guys that are in their 20s. Miles Morales came out when they were a child. This is their time.
And even kids of like, because that's the problem with comics. Like, I don't want to go too much on the comics, but like kids like Bethany's age, like they want characters like Miles and like Kamala.
Yeah,
like
they don't want to see
like
every single one of the Avengers being a white guy. They don't. They want women in it. They want people of color in it, or they want transgender people in it. They don't want what they can't relate to, and comics need to move with the times. And I think we've been seeing that in Marvel over the past few years, but they need to they just need to go bam, right. Wolverine's now a girl. That's the main Wolverine. Logan, done with Logan. Do you know what I mean? They should just do that.
He's the old guy.
Honestly, Iron Man, the young girl that was Iron Man, that's what it should be. Even keep her name as Iron Man. That's fine. She's allowed. Do you know what I mean? There's no problem with her being called Iron Man and being a woman. Like, this is the direction Marvel need to take. And I think they are going that path slowly. And I think it's to try not piss off the older generation, maybe the generation above us that'll be like, no, they can't do this. The people that still hate Miles. And there's folk our age that hate Miles. Me and you know one of them very well. Do you know what I mean? But for me, I thought Miles was a breath of fresh air. This game proves it. And as excited as I am about Spider-Man 2, I will play it. I want to see Peter knocked off. Or I want to see him retiring at the end of Spider-Man 2. And I want Spider-Man 3 to be Miles. Like, there's a part in the comic that I was reading, because obviously Miles, I've read the Ultimate ones, because he was Ultimate Spider-Man in Ultimate Comics once they rebranded. Then they moved him and it was Miles Morales Spider-Man. It's the one where it's just Spider-Man. Do you know what I mean? And Peter's comic was called Amazing Spider-Man. And it was one scene and like there was a podcaster talking about Miles to Genki. Well, and Genki was listening to it, and he got upset, and he goes, "What's wrong, dude? This is exciting." He goes, "I don't want to be known as the Black Spider-Man. I want to be known as Spider-Man." And like, obviously, I'm a white guy for Scotland, but see that part right there, I'm like, yeah. That was quite a powerful moment as just one fucking panel in a comic, and it kind of got me. I was like, yeah, he's Spider-Man now. Like, you can't now. Yeah, you can say so. Like, and I'm not talking about pronouns and all this stuff because some of it like is a lot to understand even for my generation. But see, when it comes to that sort of stuff, it's absolutely something that our generation should be on board with. Like, not enough of us are, and we're only like 35. Like, we're not exactly in our 40s, 50s, 60s. Like, so we should. Miles Morales to me, I'm now saying Spider-Man, and if somebody asks, I'll then say Miles Morales because there's too many times where I've just said, "Oh, Miles Morales Spider-Man." Well, why the fuck don't I go Peter Parker Spider-Man? There's two of them now, and they're both Spider-Man. But
yeah, but yeah, for the game, like I've really enjoyed it so far, and I'm gonna play it more. I'm definitely enjoying it more than Assassin's Creed for the moment, but it's a way more like it's a totally accessible game, and yeah, I'll play through that probably mostly first before I dabble much more in Assassin's Creed. I just wanted to mention the only other thing that I played on the PS5, because I didn't really play Xbox too much this week with the PS5 hype and whatnot. So the only thing I played on PS5, I know. The only thing I played on PS5 was I played Days Gone on PS5, Ali.
You spoke about this earlier.
Yeah, I mentioned it, but like I wanted to talk about like the experience of playing Days Gone on PS5 compared to playing it on PS4 Pro. Because on PS4 Pro, innumerable issues I had with that game, like the load times, the fan noise, ridiculous in the menus, and so PS5 fixes those issues a little bit, so it loads faster and it looks fucking way better. Like it looks unbelievable. It looks like a PS5 game. Like,
yeah, because that game looked like you'd put the Spider-Verse mod on it for the whole thing.
Yeah, like but playing it on PS5 compared to PS4 Pro, like oh my god, they've done a great job of like making it look much better. I would say that it looks probably better than Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Like, and obviously it's a proprietary game only for the PlayStation system, so it's not going across all the different versions or not. So I understand why, because they patched it for it. They did a PS5 patch for it, so it's like PS5 enhanced essentially. And it looks fucking incredible. The load times are still there, but they're much shorter. So like in between the cutscenes, you'll just get like one black frame and that's it, basically. Because it still needs to come out of the cutscene and into the game, which is annoying because we played God of War, and God of War is just completely seamless. And even from playing Spider-Man Miles Morales does it almost seamlessly as well, going from your cutscene straight into like, oh, right now you're in gameplay, cool. And like you mentioned it, I think earlier or last week, that you didn't realize that you were in control of the character.
That was this week. Sorry, yeah, that was this week. It was during a chase sequence and it was over the docks. So I got to the docks, and as I swung, it cut into the cutscene quite well, but I knew it went into a cutscene at that point. And I'm sitting just watching the chase happening, and I thought it was just a chase. And then all of a sudden, Miles just went and fell in the water, and I went, oh shit. And like it instantly blended in. Like, and in last gen, you would notice the dip in graphics so that, okay, I'm playing again, or there'd be a stutter or something. But see, on the PS5, I'm sitting watching Miles and he just plummets into the water. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, it's me. That to me was one of my next gen moments. And I'm being honest, even though we said it's a draw, even broken UI or not, this one's given me more, that's next gen moments than that one has. It really has. But
I will say with Days Gone, however, fan noise still fucking there, like on the PS5, and the fan is louder playing Days Gone than any of the other games that I've played. All the PS5 games, like they're nice, whisper quiet, like don't notice any sound whatsoever. In Days Gone, 100% I notice it. Like it is definitely there. So the fan is still louder on Days Gone on PS5 than any other game on PS5 so far.
See, I've not heard fan noise of PS5 yet, but then I've not played Days Gone.
boot up Days Gone, and you'll see what I mean. Like, boot up Days Gone, go into the menu, like you'll hear the fan. Like, and I haven't noticed the fan whatsoever on the console.
No. And day one, I'll say in the PS4 Pro, I heard the fan day one.
Yeah, and Days Gone was by far the worst for the fan noise in the menu. It was quite loud on like Last of Us and some of the other newer games on PS4 Pro as well. But Days Gone was by far the worst, and for some reason the fan just spills up in the menu so much. I don't know why, and it's the issue is still present on PS5, and now it is much quieter than PS4 Pro. I will say that, way quieter, like at least half the volume, if not like a third of the volume. But it's still there. I can still hear it above the game noise, which is, it's not concerning, but it's weird that it's still there and they haven't managed to fix that.
Do you think it will maybe get patched? Remember how they said the fan's a smart fan, it's going to adjust as people play the games? Do you think the more people play Days Gone, they might realize? But then again, this is the same company that's not hearing anyone moan about storage. So
yeah, I mean, and I don't know that there's going to be that many people playing Days Gone on the PS5 to see it as an issue. But it's definitely there, definitely still an issue. However, it's much more playable now than it was on PS4 Pro. So I played it for maybe like an hour, and I had a great time playing it. Like, and I enjoyed it more because I was able to go into the menu without it sounding like my console was going to blow up. So that was positive. So yeah, I did my skill unlocks and that was okay. Still noisy but fine, and I was able to play through a few of the story missions, and I really enjoyed playing it because it looked incredible, like absolutely incredible. So I was highly pleased with Days Gone. It doesn't have because you can obviously see the sunlight and stuff like that, and it doesn't have that same ray tracing effects that Miles has on it, or like the Spider-Man stuff that you showed me. It doesn't have that, but it still looks really good.
Yeah. So one last thing remember how I've said it was ugly? If you watch my reaction in the L3 to Sprint video, I think it's a nice looking console in the person. I think it looks absolutely horrible. I think, see this one here, I think that'll be a beautiful console. My biggest gripe is the disc tray sticking out of it, but see when you take that out of the box, I couldn't hide it. You seen on the video, I opened it on the video, I smiled ear to ear looking at it going, it's nice. It's really nice. And I'll catch myself looking at it a wee bit, and Tasha thinks it looks nice. Don't get me wrong, see when you've got it side on, it does look wide. It's quite wide, but see when it's facing you like that, it's nice. It looks nicer than the PS3 launch, which was horrible. PS4 was kind of blocky. PS2, it's dated looking now, but PS2, when I first got it, I thought it looked amazing. I thought that looked cool as fuck. But this console,
on the
PS2, yeah. But this here, taking out the box, it's watch L3 to Sprint, my unboxing there, you'll see a live reaction of me doing that. But this, I didn't get that ooh. I got an ooh from unboxing it, but I went, yeah, it's a cube, it's fine, yeah, it's nice, it's fine. But see with that, I went, I like it. So my opinion turned around in that video, as I was doing it, and yeah, I'm happier with this than this, but I can't recommend this over this at the moment. Give it 3 to 6 months and they play with the UI, and the story might change depending on what they do with the SSD and such on this. But at the moment, they're both on par. Better value Game Pass wise, but better exclusives this one and better controller. So end of the day, I've had fun with both next gen consoles. Now that I've beasted through Miles, I will probably be back in my Series X more playing my basketball, and we're knocking through Gears at the moment as well. We're playing Gears 2. We talked about that last week, I think, and this week I was that invested in Miles. I forgot that you'd said let's play, and I was like, yeah, cool, play 10-11. And I text you, it was 12:30. I'm like, Andy, I fucking forgot. And then last night you were shopping, so hopefully tonight, if you can get your internet fixed, we might get a good wee hour on Gears 2, because that game is one of the ones that I'm impressed with, even from 1X, how it looks. I was worried when we loaded it up and we had those issues we talked about last week, but see, as we played through it, that game, yeah, you could say that was an Xbox One launch title or mid-gen, and you would believe it actually at the moment. So kudos to them for back compat. But I mean, these guys as well, PS4 Spider-Man didn't look like a slouch, to be fair. But after playing remastered, I'm like, I can't go back to that. Look at the sun. Look at, I'm on a building and look, I'm fucking Spider-Man. No. Yeah, honestly, we can't decide for you. We've hopefully given you some insight on what we've thought of both consoles. I've enjoyed the launches. Like, there's been niggles and hiccups, and obviously my PS5 might be going away, so I'm kind of glad I didn't sell my PS4. Shout out to Tom, who was helping me on the phone. He was a nice guy, and we had a bit of a laugh and a joke, and I was as polite as I could because obviously I want them to fix it. Again, if you want further details on what the whole story is, then give me a message, but basically my disc tray won't work. But I did take a huff, so there is a funny story behind it all, but I wasn't wanting to talk about it here. Once Sony have fixed it, I might tell the whole story on here. But anyway, that's us for tonight. A bit of a shorter show. Like I said at the start of the show, going forward, maybe not next week, but we might think about chopping this show up. We've done 3 hours tonight, and that was an hour off for normal time. But like I said, Game of the Year show is going to be as long as expected. Anytime there's a big release or new console, you're going to get a longer show anyway. But we're talking about maybe getting rid of big screen, wee screen, which I didn't do this week anyway, and level up. We're maybe going to do in 2 parts. So you might end up with 2 shows off us. Just depends on logistics and backstage chat and stuff like that, and see what happens. But thanks very much for tuning in this week. Nobody tweeted the word from last week, so if somebody watches this entire video and messages the word Spelunky Splunk to our Twitter, I will give away 14 days Game Pass Ultimate.
Oh, nice. An incentive.
Spelunky Splunk. And you can tweet that to us at Twitter. There. So whoever tweets me Spelunky Splunk to there, hopefully by next week, I will give away the 14 days Game Pass Ultimate that came with that, because I've got Game Pass Ultimate to 2023 now. But anyway, if you're watching this before Friday, my advice would be stock up on Game Pass and PS Plus for these 2, because you can stack them. And I got a year with mine anyway, and I just bought a year, so I'm good for 2 years on this, and I'm good to 2023 on this. What I did to get them was they were like half price for the 6 months, I think it was, last year on Amazon. And I just doubled up on them, and I bought 2 years worth and added it to my 1 year already. And that's the cheapest way of doing it. And see, once it's paid for, I don't need to worry about that. So yes, thank you very much for tuning in and watching. It was a shame G didn't watch us. Maybe he's the one that's going to text us or message us Spelunky Splunk. Don't care how you spell it, but just give us it on Twitter. I've been Ali. He's been Andy. Next week we'll have his internet fine, so you can see more of his pretty face, and we won't have to wait 3 minutes for him to receive the message. The funny thing is, as soon as I end this broadcast, we'll be able to talk backwards and forwards normally. That's just how working in the Note 9 goes. But anyway, thank you very much. We will catch you all on the next one. Bye.